Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that week hiatus, or 2-week hiatus? The period of time where there wasn't an episode. You know what I'm talking about. We took a little break because things were hectic at the time, and now that things are slightly less hectic, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for episode 35? 36.
No, try again. Yep.
Hey, got into you. Episode 36 of Long Time Watcher, First Time Writer. As always, I am your host, your longtime watcher, King Fats 95th, joined as always by my excellent cast, the wonderful Bee Drops.
Hello.
The enigmatic magical Whale Gopher.
Hello.
This time, however, there is no Action Satisfaction Shakespeare. She is out for this particular outing, so instead we are once again replaced. There's a better word for that, but I can't think of it right now. Please welcome friend of the show and all-around good guy, Public Opinion.
Hello. It's me again.
It's him again. We got him back. For episodes that actually have Hongo in them.
Yeah, I couldn't let those Hongo-less episodes be my only outing.
We couldn't let those
champing at the bit.
episodes be your only outing. So we're running it back with PO. We're going to be doing episodes 76 and 77. Am I right? Yes, I am. Yeah, we're going to do episodes 76 and 77 of the original Kamen Rider Ichigo series today. But before we do that, we're going to do everybody's favorite thing, and that's the death count with Bee Drops.
Thank you, King Fats. So I had a slight prediction when tallying up the death count before viewing today, and I think that I may be right. So my prediction was, the tide is pulling out. The tide keeps pulling out. The tide keeps pulling out. The ebb and flow hasn't happened. And when the tide pulls out this much, that might be the sign of an incoming tsunami. So, I'm looking forward to tallying all of the death from these upcoming episodes that we have watched today that we will discuss, but not to get too ahead of myself. Unfortunately, that does mean we are pretty light for these past two episodes. Mm-hmm. Episode 74 features 2 deaths, one on the part of our Kamen Rider and the other on Shocker.
Wow.
Lots and lots of people were venomed by Lauskilles, but we had no evidence that the venom kills people, and we had the antidote by the end of the episode.
Right.
So there's no way I could definitively say that anyone actually died from it. So that just gives us 2 kills for that episode. 75, the only kill was the big bad Rosranga, killed by Kamen Rider. So that's 3 total for both. That brings...
Now, question about the Rosaranga episode. Mm-hmm. Did you include our ears in the death count?
I would have, typically, but I was very unsure if we're counting meta deaths.
Fair. In
this series. Perhaps later on we can tally that in, but thus far, since I haven't been counting it thus far, and I can't add everything in hindsight, I overlooked it for now, but
you know what?
I've made a mental note of that crime.
That is entirely fair. I just, as long as there is a theoretical check in the box for Rosaranga, rest in peace, our goddamn ears.
Absolutely.
Lost
hate to
forgotten.
Hear her.
For the big wrap-up festival of Kamen Rider Ichigo.
Yeah. We'll hand out the awards then.
Yeah, and worst to listen to.
Yeah, she'll win most damaging kaijin noise.
Absolutely. God. That brings our wonderful Takeshi Hongo up 2 more kills. He is now at 177 out of 471 total kills for Team Kamen Rider. Woo! Shocker has 1 more, so they're at 213. And that brings our grand total to 724 kills as of Kamen Rider episode 75.
They really fallen away from that 10 per average.
Yeah.
It's been very dry lately. I don't know how much of it is them trying to figure out the whole, like, boys squad thing.
Mm-hmm.
So many of their characters are small children whom the viewers are supposed to be projecting onto. So obviously they're not going to kill these kids.
That's what you call a bad look.
But I have high hopes for the kill counts for these next 2 episodes. Speaking of which.
Yeah, Oh, please, go ahead.
No, they did not shy away from having murders happen in front of these children.
Yeah, no, murder can happen in front of the kids. That's fine. You just can't murder the children. That's no good.
And maybe
psychological trauma.
Maybe even because of the kids in one of them.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
One? Uncertain.
Well, with all of that said, I think there's nothing to it but to do it, y'all. Let's get right on into it. With Kamen Rider episode 76, 3 of Power Generation Monster Sea Dragon. Kamen Rider episode 76, original air date September 9th, 1972. Starts a little something like this. The episode opens on the boys and Shoko being spied on by Shocker as they walk down the street is what I put. There was no clear objective. There wasn't a line about we're running errands or we're heading back to the headquarters or we're heading home after a day at the headquarters or anything like that. They were just walking like Christopher.
That's ironically, or maybe not ironically, fittingly is the better word for it. That's emblematic of most of this episode.
Yeah, shit. This was the one where shit just do be happening.
Yeah.
This was the one where they were like, so in this episode, some stuff happens.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
I want to say they were out shopping.
Sure.
But, it's a little loose.
Truly, there is no indication.
Yeah, they went to a store, but it wasn't really looking like they, that was their intent from the get-go. They were just passing by and they get that eye-catching advertising.
Yeah, clearly not the initial objective. Speaking of eye-catching advertising, the boys comment on how Shocker has been quiet, so the kids' corps hasn't had anything to do. Soon, they pass by a store selling monsters in a can from America. The group decides to buy some and take them home to raise. That night, each of the 3 is attacked when the monsters in the can grow in water to turn into the Shocker Kaijin Sea Dragon. Afterward, we see one of the Sea Dragons attack a construction site and some workers. The next day, Taki and Hongo look at the site of the incident. And I figure that's a decent chunk of episode for us to start talking about. Especially because it includes our Kaijin.
I have weird things to say of this Kaijin.
Say. Do it. Go.
Right now?
Yes. Roast this man.
Okay, so fine suit, sure, but he's got Mr. Krabs and an anteater combined energy to him. I'm not sure where I really get that from.
Oh, I mean, a little bit. Yeah, I see it.
Mr. Krabs as an anteater is what I get.
Yeah, I get with the predominantly red, and he's got a clog whipper, which is weird because he's supposed to be a seahorse.
I mean, seahorses don't have arms. You gotta figure something out.
I mean, but why did they give him claws? I was fine with the weird antenna whip things, but why was the other one a claw?
Could have had the suit be a little bit bulkier.
So one of them had a claw. No, 2 of them had claws.
2 of them had claws. One of them did have a sword hand.
Yeah. So
my thing is, Instead, all three of them should have had the seahorse head be the other arm. That should have been the weird whipper.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Okay, that would have been cool.
And have it like shoot fire, really kind of hone in on that sea dragon aspect of the name.
Because okay, slight spoiler alert. From the title, you could probably hazard a guess that there are 3 of these guys because none of them have 3 heads.
Yeah.
So,
which also would have been cool.
Which would have been cool, and I was just thinking, very obviously they only had 1 suit because they never had any of them appear on screen at the same time, but wouldn't it have been cool if they were like grafting pieces of each other onto the next one as they went? So eventually it would be a 3-headed sea dragon?
Yeah, that would have been dope. Especially if they did go with my sea dragon head as the arm idea, because then it could have been like 2, both arms are sea dragon heads, and then the third, it's just, the head proper like they did on the existing kaiju. Would have been a very cool visual.
Or additionally, the first one starts out with no arms. And
like a real sea dragon.
Yeah, and uses
horse.
Exactly. Uses like an elongated tail as the whip. But then that one dies, and the second sea dragon, takes that crafting idea, still uses his tail, but also then has the prehensile like whip arm, and then that happens again. So he's got 3 arms by the end of it, and like 3 heads, and it would have been so cool.
Yeah,
that's way too much for an episode of Kamen Rider. I realize
that would have been great for a movie, maybe.
It would have been excellent for a movie.
So looking at the dude, what he reminded me most of was Lord Zed from the Power Rangers.
I see that
because he's got this kind of like, there's like very little detail on him, but it's kind of got like the red muscle, skinless body with like kind of exoskeleton, bony bits on top of it. But yeah, much less detailed than the Lord Zed suit.
Very meaty.
And his little kisser, he's got the seahorse mouth, but it's like it's got little spiny teeth on the lips.
Oh, stupid.
It's silly looking and I like it. Also, I like how whiny this guy sounds. He very much kind of reminds me of like a younger sibling fake crying to get what they want.
A little bit, yeah.
Did the 3 of them have different noises? Because they like the one, early on it was making a noise that was like yeesh, but like that's not the noise it was making later. I wasn't sure if it shifted or if they like Sea Dragon 3 just had a different noise than the first one.
I want to say Sea Dragon 2 and Sea Dragon 3 had the same noise, but maybe Sea Dragon 1's noise was different.
Yeah.
There is one thing about this, just because it was something I was wondering about as we were, talking about this guy, because the, both in the translations, in the various translations of this episode, the creature is referred to as Sea Dragon, but we see very clearly visually in the episode that it is a seahorse. And I was wondering if there was any, like, I don't know if y'all would know anything about this. Maybe if you listening know anything about this and you want to shoot us a comment on, like, the YouTube video or the Twitter or what have you. But I was wondering if there was any precedent in, like, Japanese folklore or anything to the idea that seahorses are supposed to be aquatic dragons, because this is not actually the first time I have run into this, like, idea. There are a couple of different cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually that are seahorses, but they have the worm typing, which is worm is like a kind of dragon subtype that is kind of meant for more traditional kind of dragons. Like the first archetype to feature worms was entirely based on like Chinese mythical dragons.
So the sea dragon, like the one you see most often is like the leafy sea dragon is kind of the famous one. I've seen that in an aquarium, but it's a seahorse-like fish. It's very similar. It kind of has like a more horizontal swimming pattern compared to the seahorses, kind of famously kind of keeping themselves vertical.
Mm-hmm.
So, to my knowledge, I don't know what started it, but seahorses are, like historically, like tied to dragons in Japanese mythology. Part of it being dragons are generally in Eastern folklore, dragons are inherently tied to water before fire. I don't know what started this, but for whatever reason in folklore, seahorses are considered like the bastard children of dragons.
Is it because of the God, what is the name of that legend? About the palace in the ocean.
Maybe. I don't know if it's a chicken and egg situation.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
I wouldn't know. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, this is just kind of something I noticed, because truly, this is like the only other time I have ever been kind of confronted, as it were, with the notion of, like, here is a seahorse, it is a dragon. And I just, I found it interesting that the only times I've ever seen that, like, as a concept, it has been dealing with Japanese media. So yeah, very, very. I was just kind of curious where it came from, and yeah, I would be interested to see what's the chicken and the egg kind of setup vis-a-vis dragons being considered seahorses, and the legend of the God. I want to say it's called like Ryusei or something.
So
I feel like it's got to be
Ryujin is the dragon of the sea, and then the palace is Ryugujo.
Yes, that's it, Ryugujo. Yeah, I know that is one of the more relatively well-known, like, pieces of Japanese folklore. Is about Ryugujo, so just sort of something to think about at the end of the day, really.
The giant oarfishes are messengers from the palace, the sea dragon god.
Neat. Thanks, giant oarfish.
Come to warn you, or earthquakes?
Well, man, that's so helpful of them.
Hence why they're sometimes considered bad omens to see.
That makes sense. Before we go on too much more of a tangent, do we have anything else that we want to say about the suit?
Okay. About the suit? I don't think so. We are still running that trend of most of the monsters wearing that new white belt.
Yep. Yeah.
I just don't think that's going away. I don't know if we're going to just stop remarking on that sometime soon, because that just seems to be the normal baseline now.
I'm curious if it'll shift when we get a new Shocker Commander, or if...
True. Maybe.
That's what I think is going to happen. I think once we get a new Shocker leader guy, I think that we are going to we're going to change belts again.
What if they just stop having belts?
That would be wild.
Oh, let's not get crazy. Wow.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I just had.
Listen. I don't know if they're ready to take that step.
I'm not.
Whew.
Yeah, that's you're saying some stuff now, Gopher.
I know.
Imagine them breaking convention so hard as to remove a belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly. Of all of the things to remove from Kamen Rider.
They love their belts. They love their championship belts.
They love their championship titles.
We're gonna get to episode 98, and it's just the guy's not even gonna have a suit, no belt, no suit.
Oh my god!
It's just gonna be
just a man.
Yeah, it's just a dude.
Just a guy in a Japan Action Club shirt.
Not even.
Taki.
Taki was the real leader of Shocker.
Yo, Taki
He,
healed.
he's always been undercover.
Never seen him in the same room as the Shocker leader before.
Yeah, granted, we've never seen the Shocker leader before.
That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why, yeah.
We've never
But I
seen
guess
the
we have
Shocker
now.
leader in the same room as the Shocker leader before.
Yeah.
I feel like the statue, the Fasci statue, has been speaking while Taki was like in view of the statue, but maybe not.
Pre-recorded
I mean, that's
messages.
probably, yeah. I'm sure this happened sometime, but that's also very, like, incidental kind of evidence, because, yeah.
Everyone, please leave us a comment if you adhere to this theory. I think we've cracked it wide open. I think Taki is actually the fascist leader of Shocker.
Yeah.
I think he's duped us all.
I've been writing terrible theories for a good chunk of the day, so
Here's what I want to know, because while I appreciate you being all in on the Taki is the Fasci statue train, are you going to be emotionally prepared for that, B-Drops?
No.
For that betrayal?
Is it supposed to be fun if I'm prepared? Why would I even bother trying?
No, that's fair. It's just...
He's worked very hard to set up this betrayal. Why would I ruin it by preparing myself emotionally?
You know, incredibly valid. That's the most B-Drop sentence I've ever heard.
Looking at Sea Dragon here, the thing that it's like its head is making me think of is like a Shy Guy mask, but like a snout full of pointy teeth has grown out of the mouth hole.
Ooh, he's no longer a cute little guy. He's also got eye bags, despite his skeletal face.
I was actually just about to say, as Pio brought up the Shy Guy pull. He actually, from certain angles, he looks a little bit like a Sniffit. If y'all remember that rarely used Mario enemy, which I'll post a picture in here for the sake of my podcast people. And if you're listening to this after the fact, just go Google a Sniffit. It's real easy. You can do it, I believe in you.
Please. Sorry. Oh, yes. It looks like a Shy Guy with a gas mask, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, definitely kind of similar vibes.
If they made a second, Super Mario Bros. Movie, going off the first one, and introduced Shy Guys into that canon, they might look a little something like this creature.
Oh my gosh. You're right. How horrible. I want to see it now.
I also think I would like to see that.
Chris Pratt fights this guy on the big screen.
So, did the synopsis... Alright. So, the three of them, they all emerge from their aquariums.
Yep.
And we mentioned them emulating, going to those construction guys and them all getting set on fire. Did we mention the dog that explodes?
I kept the dog violence out of the synopsis, but we probably should talk about the fact that one of them did blow up a dog.
Legitimately blew up a dog.
Legitimately blew up a dog.
Literally.
It's pretty messed up.
Is this Naoki's dog? Or the other kid?
I could not tell you.
God, that's a good question. Let's find out. If I can find it. But yeah, we don't have a great track record for dogs on this show. It's sad. Is this where Araki gets his inspiration? I don't know.
Maybe.
It was Naoki's dog. Oh God, Naoki, your dog.
To be fair, Araki only did horrible things to 2 dogs. At least that I recall. I don't know.
No, it was... Okay, I'm remembering at least another one.
Is this like part 5 stuff that I just haven't gotten to yet?
4.
What happened to a dog in part 4?
do you remember that a certain ghost used to have a dog?
Oh, right. Yeah.
That is why there is also a ghost dog.
I forgot about Ghost Dog.
Ghost dog.
Wave the Samurai.
Ghost Dog.
Yeah. For all of you non-JoJo fans, the author of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Hirohiko Araki, is well known for occasionally committing horrible dog violence in the manga. His reason being, he loves dogs and thinks it's one of the fastest ways to get you to hate an antagonist.
Yep.
I mean,
he's not wrong.
yeah.
Cheap Heat is called Cheap Heat for a reason. It's effective.
God.
Yeah, this
Kicks a dog in the furnace.
this poodle, this black-haired poodle, just gets detonated.
Just
Poor
detonated.
baby gets slapped into the 6th dimension.
Yeah, really. He got that fucking Muppets transition. That was a one-frame explosion. My man was
God,
gone.
it's very, very upsetting to see this dog get obliterated and literally no one says anything about it. Like, Naoki doesn't show up the next day and be like, oh my god, my dog
my
died!
fucking dog, dude.
Oh my
You gotta
god!
kill him.
But no, I don't know.
You know what? I appreciate him being a brave little soldier. He knew what he was signing up for when he joined the Kamen Rider Kid Corps.
That dog didn't sign up. That dog was a casualty. This is against the Geneva Conventions.
You think that Shocker cares about the Geneva Convention?
I mean, they should. They're formed from the people who kind of made it become a thing. I don't think they'll follow it.
Yeah, I was
but...
gonna say all the more reason for them to be like, fuck the Geneva Convention. Shocker, you're bad dudes.
I missed my opportunity to say it earlier also, but the Kid Corps has a cute addition to their uniforms now. They have little hats.
Yes, the hats. Yeah, we got little Kamen Rider hats now.
Yeah, pre-order yours today. Send an envelope with $20 in the mail.
Yeah. Send it my way. Why not?
Wait, go for... Don't talk with my emotions like this now. Are you telling me that if I put $20 in an envelope and I send it to you, I will get a Kamen Rider hat?
No, you'd need to send me much more if you actually want to get something.
How much do I have to send you for a Kamen Rider hat?
Probably like $80.
Done. Easy. Easier than
Go
DJ Khaled.
go for... What is in your catalog, might I ask? Is there anything other than these hats?
I mean, I'll try to make whatever. It's just shipping is really expensive nowadays.
It's really expensive.
Can we get a monster in a can?
Yes. I'll take a can of beans, paint it over as monster in a can.
What kind of beans?
Black beans.
Delicious.
Okay.
So you'll get a can of beans, paint it as monster in a can. Comes in a can.
Can o' beans.
Monster in a can comes in a can? On God?
I will receive
Wow.
the beans. I will open them. I'll start eating them. Mr. Popo will go
Ooh.
meow, 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 which, as we all know, is cat for beans. It'll be a great time.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Mr. Popo?
Thank
Where did he go?
God. Also, I would be remiss not to say Choco was eating in this episode.
Yep.
She appeared to be eating a sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she always makes me want to have candy. I will one day learn to get some candy.
Yeah, just make sure you have some candy ahead of time.
If you buy a Kamen Rider hat from me, I'll have the money to get candy.
Buy a Kamen Rider hat from Gopher. So she can get
$80
candy.
USD.
It's
Yeah.
honestly
I'll
a
make
steal.
like $20 of profit.
All right.
Or you can also send Go for candy.
Or you can just send Gopher candy.
What's your poison?
What's your poison? Mine's rat
Sour
poison.
Skittles.
Sour
Oh,
Skittles?
that also works, yeah.
Sour Skittles.
We,
I'm ignoring the other
we
one.
interpreted this question in two very different ways.
So, at the start of this episode, the kids are being watched by the
Blues
dudes
Brothers.
in suits with sunglasses, and the lady running the shop, is in on this scheme. They get the kids and Chaco to grow the monsters. The monsters don't do anything to the kids or Chaco once they are grown. The kids, I believe, witness this.
They try. One of them tries.
Oh. They don't. Extreme lack of persistence. If any of the Kamen Rider entourage was supposed to be the target, they just all head off to do their other things immediately.
It's kind of a real Three Little Pigs scenario, but kind of out of order.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because you have one emerge, immediately kills the kid's dog. The kid spots the monster and hides in bed. For whatever reason, it works. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess in a moment we'll see what the other two do.
Well, I didn't put the specifics in the synopsis. I just put that the three, each of them was attacked. Especially because we don't actually see Choco get attacked. We hear about it after the fact.
No, she's really just got a handle on things for whatever reason.
See, the problem is he tried to attack her while she was sleeping, and she started eating him. She was like, calamari. And he was like, I have to leave right now.
Yeah, she's completely unscathed, unfazed. She's fine.
Unbothered in her lane.
Moisturized.
Yeah, flourishing.
Happy. Yeah. The other child, the other one, Naoki's yellow shirt, this one's the other one.
Mitsurugi.
The other one.
Yeah.
Just kidding. He awakens to just hot, steaming piss in his fish tank. It's horrible.
Yeah, William Murderface has been here.
Oh, God, he could pee that much, too.
Oh, absolutely.
He's the closest thing to Wario emerging in the real world.
He's the closest thing to Piss and Ricky Smits emerging in the real world.
Oof. Okay. No hydration. It's very yellow. I hate it. Anyway.
William Murderface is just as fictional as Wario.
Are you sure about that?
Sometimes I want to.
I hope so.
Sometimes I like to believe. Sometimes I like to believe that there's a thin metaphorical film of reality between something like Metalocalypse and Wario that is further keeping Wario from breaching closer to our world.
Oh, you like to believe that Wario is a fiction's fiction.
Yeah.
Yes. I'd want him as far away from me as possible.
Boy, you're going to be real upset when, surprise, shock, and disbelief, they reveal the sudden castings for Wario and Waluigi in the Mario movie.
The shocking twist, we're fictional and Wario is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Does that make me safer?
Maybe. I don't know. Probably not.
No. Oh, no. Oh, God, no. It's fine. Wario will never discover me. Just like how this second seahorse will never catch this child as they Benny Hill around the piss table.
Really
God, I forgot. How did I forget?
Mike.
It's absolute buffoonery in the best way.
It's just that super undercranked, sped up, running around a table.
I can hear the Scooby-Doo like like as they're running
the
around.
Hanna-Barbera bonkos.
Yeah. Kid sprays him with a fire extinguisher, and somehow that is enough.
Look, if wrestling has taught me anything, it's that fire extinguishers are very deadly.
If you hit people with them, perhaps, but...
Well, I mean, that's what the kid does. He gets a clean shot right over the piss.
Does he? I thought he just sprayed him. Did I? Perhaps I forgot. I thought he just sprayed the cloud.
I figure like either or. 6 in one hand.
I guess it
dozen in
cuts
the other.
away.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got our 3 little pigs. The first little piggy blows the dog up. Second little piggy goes after a more relevant target, but fails. Third little piggy commits horrible crimes and is now a serial killer.
Yeah. He does a big murder.
He does a big murder of 3 workers and their truck. Their truck is also dead. I'm counting it because, good lord, there's no saving that truck.
Yeah, they annihilated that thing.
It got its own special effects shot with a model blowing up.
Yes.
On fire.
They fucked that truck up.
So, instantly after, this silly-ass slapstick Benny Hill chase, we have, like, a pretty grisly, like, a bunch of dudes being burned.
Yeah. They recognized that Benny Hill scene was a little too silly, and they were like, let's course correct just a little bit with an immolation.
Yay! Clap, 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 clap. It's pretty gruesome. I'd be remiss not to comment on how cute their little truck was, though. It's blue and it's got like caution tape around the bed, but the interior is red. It's just cute little toy truck looking thing.
It was a nice little truck.
Rest in peace, truck. Also we do get the shot of like one of the workers like burning inside of the truck before the whole thing just completely collapses.
Mm-hmm.
It's really gruesome for this show. Like, we've had some gruesome death scenes before, but usually it's just like blood, paint thrown, but
it's very episode 3.
Yeah, it is.
A little bit.
This one is definitely pretty rough as far as deaths in the show have gone. Which is kind of par for the course for this episode. Because in hindsight, our kaijin deaths in this one are pretty rough too. Maybe the first one not so much, but number 2 for sure. We'll get there when we get there.
The first one was pretty good.
The first one was pretty solid. I think. I mean, it was gruesome, but not like as gruesome as some things we've seen. But that second one definitely makes up for it. That's some serial killer shit. Again, we'll get there when we get there. I want to mention, because I recalled looking at my notes briefly that I did make a note about it. The really good scene transition we get, where the third sea dragon attacks, he murders those people, he blows up the car, and I think it is like post the car exploding, we stay on a shot of like the smoldering wreckage of the truck and the dude inside, and then we like pull out and it's daytime and it's a crime scene and a bunch of people are there and investigating. That was a really good scene transition. I liked it a lot. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it went. If I'm remembering that incorrectly, please correct me. But
I think that sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And then Taki, touches everything without his gloves.
Yeah.
Look.
And so does Hanga.
Look.
Yeah. I actually thought Takeshi was coming onto the scene. There is like someone in a lab coat running like away from the camera in over the like police line, and I thought that was him. And then he just drives up from the other side of the screen. But yeah, they're just up here just grabbing things with their fingerless gloves, and I don't know why they're on the crime scene. I don't know who let them here, because for whatever reason, the police, despite having like a whole episode about it, do not consistently know about or publicly acknowledge the existence of Shocker. Taki's supposed to be undercover, so I don't know why he's in here. Takeshi is not affiliated with any law enforcement on an official level whatsoever. I don't know why he got let in here either.
Listen, sometimes
I'm listening.
When you're the protagonist, you get to have certain special privileges. Like access to crime scenes without people questioning you.
Maybe
I question that.
Stop.
Maybe now that they got this child army,
Yeah.
they're legit. They're part of the government or something now.
They had to get a permit for a child army, you know.
Yeah, okay. What makes them more legit is putting children in danger on an official level, I suppose.
I mean, that sounds about right.
That's what...
Yeah, well, you're going to tell me I'm wrong?
I don't want you to be right is the only problem.
Hey, I don't want me to be right either, but here we are.
Yeah, here we are. They're just rubbing their fingerprints all over this crime scene. Or at least Takeshi is. I don't know if Taki has any anymore, but...
Listen, of the two people in this scene, Taki is the more likely one to have fingerprints still. Or did you forget about Hongo's cyborg surgery that happened to him?
I'm just thinking about how Taki is an undercover FBI agent who may have cut, sanded, or chemically burned them off for his occupation.
What I'm saying is neither of them have fingerprints. Because that makes the most sense. Because there's no way Shocker left them shits on.
Didn't get to that part yet.
Oh, you really do think remove fingerprints wasn't before brainwash?
Brainwash wasn't before make you a super soldier.
They have a really bad checklist.
I think
it's the point.
It
Real
goes
scrambled. I think they're going bottom to top.
Kidnap, super soldier,
okay,
suggestions.
But you gotta think remove fingertips is part of make you a super soldier, right?
Maybe.
I mean, it seemed like their intention wasn't to have any sort of covert operative so much as to simply take him off the grid and mold him into this ideal molded by it.
Thank you.
Oh, Bane.
Oh, Bane.
Nope, I can't get into that.
Yeah, no, let's not get off on that tangent.
Angie, anyway.
And I guess then we have to ask, how is,
we don't have to ask.
That's true.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Please actually do ask.
Like, how's the, was it forensics work with it? Like, do they even have, in 1970s Japan, the technology to scan for fingerprints accurately and place them to a person?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Really?
I mean, you don't have, like, computers and stuff for it, but you can... dusting for fingerprints has been around for quite a number of decades.
Like, I know dusting has, but particularly taking, like, the fingerprints and, like, DNA samples and stuff from that.
I don't know how accurate or advanced DNA sampling was at the time, but, like, fingerprints were a thing. They were just a lot more... I guess... You had to do them yourself.
They were more
actual, like, fingerprints were put on paper, and then the images are blimped up, and you look at it, and you're like, is this the same? I've been trained to see if this is the same thumbprint as this thumbprint. And it's just
fair.
Looking for the similarities.
Damn, maybe
But I...
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I was thinking, like, what if Hongo just has, like, robot fingerprints?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, like, it's not that he doesn't have any, it's just, like, they're just, like, rectangles.
That'd be some shit. That would make him the most identifiable motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're Shocker. They want to let people know it happened.
I guess that's
They're
fair.
Shocker. They're incompetent, so... Why would they make a decision that would help hide the identity of
I only know one man with square fingerprints. Bring in Takeshi Hongo.
But I guess this show is not concerned with forensics, and perhaps we shouldn't be either.
Definitely not.
No, there's other stuff we need to concern ourselves about with the science of this episode.
Look, if we want...
Absolutely.
There is a Kamen writer... There are multiple Kamen writers we can watch if we really want to be that concerned with forensics. This is not one of them.
That actually sounds dope. I was just about to say, okay, but like, somebody doing some real ass scientific investigation on these insane magical monsters of science would be fascinating.
Yeah. Well, so there you go. Recommendation for you out there in podcast listening to land. If you're looking for some Kamen writers that do care about forensics a little bit, I've got two I can recommend for you. Kamen Rider Double. I personally call him W because that is what the symbol is, but the Japanese translation is just double. The general premise is kind of based around like old school film noir murder mystery type stuff. So every episode is like a kind of a whodunit to find out who the monster of the week is. So there's a decent amount of forensics type work in that, along with your good old fashioned hitting the street, talking to informants, sort of type stuff. And then Kamen Rider Drive, the protagonist is a policeman. So plenty of fun police work gets added into the Kamen Rider mix there as well. So there you go. If that seems like your cup of tea, there's some Kamen Riders for you to check out.
I was really hoping that you were gonna mention the vampire one. In the forensic heavy episode, I think that'd have been hilarious.
See, the problem is I haven't seen enough Kiva to know for sure.
Well.
Maybe. I truly have no idea. I haven't watched Kiva yet.
When Kiva gets a sequel, that's gotta be the sequel.
Vampire blood work. I love it. Shall we continue on with the synopsis? I think we have said what we want to say about this chunk of episode.
Hit it.
Here we go. Later, this is after Hongo and Taki were at the site of the incident. Later, they learned about the attacks and the monsters in the can at the Kid Corps headquarters. They have one of the boys lead them to the shop they brought the monster at, but the boy gets kidnapped by Shocker. Hongo and Taki follow after Shocker and rescue the child, with Hongo defeating the Sea Dragon as Kamen Rider. Back at the Shocker base, Ambassador Hell tells the Shocker leader the other two Sea Dragons will be upgraded so Hongo cannot exploit their weakness again. We then see Hongo save a drowning man while the boys follow him on their bikes. The drowning man turns out to be Sea Dragon, who kidnaps Hongo, so the boys kid Core about what happened. There is very little of this synopsis left. Do y'all mind if I just finish it?
Go ahead. Yes.
Go ahead.
It's only a couple of seconds. Or sentences, I should say. Back at Shocker's base, they attempt to turn Hongo into an evil cyborg when he reveals he was playing possum to find their base. Hongo fights Shocker in the base and defeats Sea Dragon 2. Sea Dragon 3 then reveals himself and attacks Kamen Rider. Rider and Taki have a showdown with Shocker, and Hongo defeats Sea Dragon 3 with a Rider punch. Yeah, the back half of the episode is pretty much just fight scene.
Yeah, and no plot. Still.
Yeah, not much.
So, despite the fact that this episode it may seem similar to the episodes I was on previously, where there's no plot and it's just kind of a string of fight scenes, I actually I liked this one.
Yeah, no, these
I think
were
so
not
too.
bad episodes. They were just kind of plot light, and honestly, even that's mostly a complaint for this episode. The second episode was relatively detailed within its plot.
I personally feel like they had a really good setup with this episode and didn't entirely follow through with it. It seemed almost like there was to be like a sort of mystery because there were 3 monsters on the loose and we need to find out how to track them down. And that didn't really happen.
Yeah.
I thought it would very much turn out to be like there's 3 strings of chaos spreading through Japan, and we have to follow each one until we get to our monster. Granted, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, how would they fit that into 22 minutes? I'm not entirely sure unless we got really into montages.
You could do montages. There's plenty of like episodes, not necessarily of Kamen Rider, but of just kind of in general, which is like the 3 mini episodes, and it could have been like that.
And perhaps. But
So
yeah, this certainly isn't the worst.
Yeah.
in the time period between my previous appearance and this one, I have watched Kamen Rider 01, and in 01, there is a bit. Yeah, there's a section of episodes where there's a monster who like keeps getting killed and revived and learning each time. And when Ambassador Hal was saying I've upgraded the others, I was like, ooh, is this gonna be kind of like that? Are we gonna like, is he just gonna upgrade them sequentially? No,
not
really.
quite. Would have been cool.
I'm still not entirely sure what Sea Dragon 1's weakness was that was corrected for 2 and 3.
Apparently it was something to do with his legs. Yeah, I got
it could have been done better, but it's all right.
Yeah, wasn't the best. Also, wasn't the worst. It was
pretty middle ground episode that did have a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm. I thought they could have done something like, the monster in a can gets shipped out, and children go ahead, they throw it in the water, think they're having their toys. Everywhere, kind of just monsters sprout up. Just a little shop of horrors with Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, that would have been cool.
That would have been good.
But there is like nothing to even hint at the possibility of that being a plan.
No Mpreg in our Kamen Rider. Please don't fall completely silent after I say that way.
I mean, no, you're right. It's just you really punched me in the face with that one there, B. You really just kind of let that rip.
They didn't really follow up on the monster in a can aspect of it at all. Which
could have been so fun. It could have been like, oh, this was sold en masse to children.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's just such it's a setup with great potential that is just completely squandered.
That's the problem, I think, is that it's just the setup.
Yeah. Oh, just a small note for something that happens earlier within this rest of the synopsis. There's a point at which we go back to the Shocker base, and I am just incredibly amused by this moment between Fashy Stashy and Ambassador Hell, wherein they're observing the Sea Dragon, and Fashy Stashy's like, oh my god, it's actually working as intended.
Yeah. And fucking Ambassador Hell's just like, yeah, see, look, I did a good job.
There's also a scene at the base where they're like, yes, our plans are in motion.
Or what?
They're not.
They're not. What plan?
Yeah, like they're just like, death will follow in the wake of the sea dragons, and we're like, what? Did you just unleash them on the world? Is that the entirety of the plan?
I was gonna say
they've killed a dog and 3 construction workers.
There is a scene.
That's all you need, I guess.
Right before the actual fight starts proper, that is Ambassador Hell explaining the plan that I just didn't include in the synopsis because it's fucking nothing. It's literally just him being like, look at this cool sea dragon I made. It kills people with electricity.
It's not a plan.
That's not a plan, Ambassador Hell.
That's why it's working as intended, because there isn't really a plan to fail.
This plan
He just made a thing what shoots electricity.
This plan's got 16 times the detail and is working as intended.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
It just works.
Yeah.
It just works. I've seen Parasite. Never make plans, because then none of your plans can fail.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of setups with potential that didn't pay off, so Bongo, he's lured in to rescue the supposed drowning man, and he's all in that water, wearing his white shirt and his white pants.
That's true.
I was like, oh, we get some wet shirt Hongo?
No.
You could see it a little, but
yeah, Not.
Yeah.
He gets whisked away, and when he's in the shocker base, dry.
Dry as a bone.
Yeah, I remember during this scene, I was like, oh, I kind of thought this outfit might have been white denim, and I can clearly see that it is not.
Yeah, no, it's...
But they didn't really bank on it as much as I thought they would.
Yeah, no.
The housewives of 72 were sorely disappointed on this Saturday morning.
Yeah. I think most of the podcast was probably a little disappointed too.
Mm-hmm.
Leans forward in chair. Aww.
Oh, wooga. Got a case of cyborg fever.
Yeah.
That implies that it goes away.
True.
The whole lead up to that drowning scene is so strange too, because he fights with another sea dragon before then, who kidnaps Naoki, and Takeshi's like, "You let him go and I'll do whatever you want." To which the sea dragon replies, "Then perish." And
I'm
then
gonna
they
kill
fight.
the both of you is what's gonna happen, actually.
Yeah, but then after that is the drowning man scene, and that's how he gets captured, which seems like a bit of a waste of a setup.
A little bit, yeah.
Another waste of a setup, yeah.
The first time, I don't know if he was like genuinely going to do anything, or if he was just stalling for
I think
Taki
he was just stalling
to get
for
up.
Taki. At least personally.
I mean, surely yes, but you know he would have done whatever he could if he truly felt like the child was in danger, and I just think it feels a little silly to have both these setups back to back.
Admittedly, like, if the end goal was to get Hongo in the Shocker base, why didn't we just do it with fucking Sea Dragon 1 and then have a bit where he fights all three Sea Dragons back to back to back instead of spacing it out weirdly like this?
As much as I want to like the premise of the three sea dragons, I can't help but think, with the way this episode turned out,
like there was just
it
one
would have
sea
worked
dragon.
infinitely better with one. It would have worked better if there was just one, and maybe I'd swap around some of the scenes a little bit more. Like,
if there was only one sea dragon, we wouldn't have gotten the great death scene at the abandoned whatever it is.
They were all good death scenes.
They were all good death scenes, but I especially appreciated the one from this first fight wherein Hongo, I guess, tripped this dude in midair, and then he landed face down on the ground, and then he kind of went and caught on fire. It was
great. Also, side note, we got the best ragdoll scene in a while when fighting the mooks earlier in this scene as well, wherein this abandoned building, it looks like some really decrepit old like office or apartment
I was gonna say it looks like an apartment complex that either didn't finish construction or like it got like bombed out or something.
Or something. It is
a hotel, maybe.
Perhaps something with a ton of rooms and balconies, and
it's just got like no walls to it.
The ragdoll just gets
it's
no
a great
walls
set piece.
you'll
recognize it if you watch the episode, because we've been there in a bunch of episodes. But I'm kind of always happy whenever we come back because it's a great set piece, and we do some good stuff with it as far as the fight scene here.
The mook gets thrown off, and Kamen Rider realizes that gravity can kill things that can't fly. Kamen Rider throws our first sea dragon off the building. It lands face down. It dies in glorious blue. No, that's the different one. This one just catches fire.
He's lying face down on the ground for a beat.
And he burps.
It's like he burps and then he just slowly catches fire.
It's good. And then we immediately
in regards to that just said me off the shits after Nickel shot died at the Houlihan's.
God,
it is
those burps do burn.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, it's great. To which I am very amused by Fasci Stacci in the next scene saying, Kamen Rider has identified Sea Dragon's weak point, throwing him off like the 5th story of a building.
Yeah, I mean, shit, dog, me too.
Yeah, like, shrug? I don't know.
I need you to show me who that doesn't kill. I guess Hongo.
There is a very... Yeah, I guess he's built different. Genetic freak that he is. Anyway, yeah, the very disappointing scene of Takeshi trying to save the drowning man, who turns out to be Sea Dragon, who drowns him and kidnaps him to the base, where he has inexplicably been blow-dried before they proceed to their plans.
That was them wanting to spend their time with the test subjects.
I guess that's
that's
fair, but with all the like wet and dirty scenes we've had in this show, I'm in a similar boat to Pio, where I'm like, why did they not just have that be part of the episode? I don't know.
Moist.
Yeah. I have a little bit of something to go off on for a moment in this scene. Does anyone have anything to say about the scene first, though?
The only thing I was going to bring up was Sea Dragon 2's death. Pio, what were you going to go for?
I was going to talk about, so the machine they got to hook up to, off to the side, there's this glowing orange brain in a tank. And whose brain? It's like, they mentioned they're going to replace his mind with an AI. Is this an AI brain?
That's what I was assuming.
Ambassador Hell? Making robot brains?
That was my assumption, yeah.
It's cool.
So that's kind of what I want to get into. Because first of all, they don't explain what the hell that is.
Oh,
but
yes,
second,
your tangent, please. I'm excited for this.
My tangent is that they say that they want to do something especially devious to Takeshi Hongo as their nemesis. And their plan is to not simply kill him, but to turn him evil. Because I guess, they always meant to do that, so why not, I guess. How they're going to achieve this is to put an evil AI in this brain after, and I quote, removing his cerebrum and his cerebellum. I would like to go into what that means for a second, first of all. So, asterisk. My degree is in psychology and psychological research. I am not a neuroscientist, but I have had to study physiological psychology for my degree. I know a baseline of brain function. So, first of all, okay, the cerebellum. The cerebellum is a big old chunk of thing that's kind of sitting at the base of the back of your brain, kind of towards the brainstem. It's on the very bottom, very back. It's mostly in charge of motor functions and fine motor functions, coordination. It's what help you move body.
Mm-hmm.
They're just gonna rip that out.
Yeah, I didn't need it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they want to replace it with one that will make him move his body for
evil.
Yeah, the evil
body.
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't realize that motor function was tied to morality.
It is.
Speaking of morality, morality is tied to the cerebrum. I can tell you why. The cerebrum is like 85% of the brain? Hey, your gray matter? That's the cerebrum. Your frontal, temporal, occipital, parietal lobes. That is the cerebrum. All of that is the cerebrum. Take it. You're gonna have a brainstem and what the hell is you gonna?
I want to replace it with an evil one. I don't want gray matter. I want black matter.
You're gonna have a brainstem and your pituitary glands, your medulla oblongata. You're not gonna have much left in there.
To this new brain I have sitting in this jar.
I guess so the thing that confounds me is that I don't understand why they can't just say we're going to rip his brain out and put this robot brain in, or why they can't say let's put this chip on his prefrontal cortex,
they gotta use
which
their
is
cold news
what
science.
is going to allow them to control like his impulses, his morality, his choice making, his social behaviors. But no, they're just gonna rip out everything and shove a new brain on whatever remains, which...
I don't understand what your issue is.
Remember, they chose Takeshi Hongo. They chose Takeshi Hongo very specifically as someone with a 600
brain
IQ.
genius.
And they're just gonna rip his brain out.
The 600 IQ is starting to piss him off.
Yeah. What?
I'm confounded at this. I am so confounded. This seems so unnecessary.
And they're gonna do it all with a freaking, like, 1/4-inch drill.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a drill. They have a drill, and they're like, drill a hole in the top of his head and remove his cerebrum and his cerebellum. Like, honey, how are you gonna get down in there? How are you gonna get down in there?
It was a banner year this
like,
Father's Day for Ambassador Hell. He got a whole cordless drill.
What baffles me is that, like, 20, 30 episodes ago, we didn't need to do any of this.
We didn't! You could just control people with gas or microchips!
Yeah, not only that, but do you remember the I forget which episode, but the shockerification where it's just like the little spin dial, and then you flush away the memories and you add in the new ones, and then boom.
Hypnotic suggestion!
Yeah, there you go.
They're ripping out the assets of this man that they literally chose him for. They're going to make him evil by replacing his whole ass brain.
Yeah.
And I'm not even... What do you mean AI? That's a brain. What do you mean AI?
Yeah, it's an artificial intelligence. It's a fake brain.
Yeah, it's biomechanical.
Is it
biomechanical?
Is it organic? So yeah, like...
Don't worry about it.
I'm worried about it.
Don't worry about it.
No,
They're taking my man's wrinkles. What are you doing?
They're just gonna put a fucking iron to his shit. Just like, yeah. No more wrinkles.
That would have made just about as much sense.
Yeah, really. Absolute Looney Tunes logic.
I don't understand, because I just feel like with the slight change of dialogue and removing the stupid brain from the tank beside him, which I don't even know... I'm not going to touch on the stupid brain anymore, but like... Yes.
B. It's his think tank.
I hate you. I'm taking your son.
No! He's done nothing wrong.
I just feel like there are such simple... Why did they throw in actual, like, terms? Like, anatomical terms? When they... Like, it could have been really simple. Like, we're going to implant a chip in his prefrontal cortex to make him be evil. Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care. We're gonna put a chip in his cerebellum so we can control his body and force him to do things. Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't...
But P, they wanted to use big science words.
But they did a bad. They're just ripping out his whole deal. Like, I mean, not even like the parts that give him his morality or like his memories or anything. Like, literally, like, motor function is being ripped out of his body.
Yeah.
Like, language comprehension, everything. We are just emptying out the whole garage with a fire hose here.
Look, sometimes you really gotta just pressure wash someone's whole shit.
Somebody pressure wash my brain.
I would love to get my brain pressure washed, actually. That seems like it would be good.
You know, sometimes you really need it. You feel like the goop thoughts getting all up in the
Gets
cracks
all
of the
gunky in
crevice.
there, and you just gotta
It's just
flush
like,
that shit out.
man, can you just like remove the slime? It'd be like wringing out a towel in space with how clingy it all is. Like, damn.
I'm just I don't mean to be so pedantic, but like it's always about when they use specific terminology. It's like when sci-fi movies decide to use like real terms instead of making things up or just being vague. Like when they're like, "Oh, we have to measure the trajectory of the polarity reversal." Like, what are you talking about?
That's bullshit.
What does that mean? You're crazy.
I had a similar experience, albeit not as intense, when I was watching or when I started watching King Kong or Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla.
Oh, always known for their scientific accuracy.
Absolutely. But like, you know, this guy goes into a cave and he's like looking at stuff and he's like, "Ooh, look, a shiny rock," and then, you know, they're like, "Oh, what is this rock?" And the guy looks to him deadpan. "It's space titanium."
Yo, on God.
Oh God, you know this titanium from space?
It's
you told me a space made this titanium?
And I'm like, there's two ways to interpret that. Either that technically all dense materials are made from stars and, you know, through fission and stuff and all that, and other things that technically would make it lead to from space, or you're just wrong.
Or the third option,
space titanium real.
Yeah, space titanium real.
I can't deal with that thought process.
Look, you can't make a giant robot out of common metals, okay? Do you think Gundams would be as strong and as cool as they were if they weren't made out of Gundanium?
I thought they were made out of metal, so yes.
No, they're made out of Gundanium. That's how they so skronk, but still so fast.
Man.
Think about it.
I have so many words about the movies I've been watching recently, but that's
I would love to hear them, but that's a different podcast.
Yeah.
Takeshi Hongo is going to be a plant when they finish this surgery, is basically what I'm saying.
No, because they're going to put a new brain.
$5,000 in my wallet, and I'll do another podcast episode.
Fair enough, I guess.
In 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Well, never mind.
The money Gopher's going to leave us.
I withdraw my fair enough.
Alright. Speaking of Takeshi Hongo, and him being fucking stone cold, like, Ambassador Hell, you know, is like menacing him with this drill, and he drills into the seat right next to him just to like make a point, I guess. While Takeshi Hongo is theoretically, like, supposedly unconscious. He's not unconscious. He's simply just stoic in the face of nearly being drilled until he, like, somehow sleight of hand unplugs the drill as it's inching towards his head, and then smugly reveals that he was just pretending. It's a baller move. I enjoyed it.
It's incredibly baller, yeah. And then he gets to bust an ass, as Takeshi Hongo is one to do. There isn't too much about this fight that's very remarkable in my mind, and maybe that's just because my mind is entirely occupied with how it ends. Does anybody else have anything they want to say about this particular fight scene before I get to the finish? Just because I recognize that maybe I am not, my brain holding capacity is not giving this particular fight its due diligence. Potentially.
Sea Dragon 2 had like a sword arm instead of a claw, but nothing really came of it. Sea Dragon 2 did not do much before the end.
Before he died, yeah.
The
I
drill
think
was
this
great,
fight
though.
is where I put the note that he has good noises.
Yeah.
There was that
I think
mural on
you're
the
right.
wall. That was neat.
Yeah, there's like a skull with blood dripping out of one of the sockets.
Yeah. It was a quite a neat little mural. Sad that it wasn't Sea Dragon specific, but neat that we just got a mural all the same. So yeah, let's talk about the end of this fight because it's insane. Hongo gets his hands on the drill.
Yeah.
And when Hongo is fighting the dude and he's got, power tools, things are about to go bad. And go bad they do, because he just kind of like gets up on the little operating table, grabs the drill, and he just starts drilling holes into Sea Dragon 2 until he like bleeds out blue foam and then just like dissolves into fire. It's fucking nuts. It's such a great finish.
Yeah, I think it's the most brutal thing since Batman.
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe.
Quite a glory kill, truly.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I didn't even realize. Apparently, it was such a gory death. I even actually made a point to just put a note that says, "That's kind of fucked up, Hongo."
Mine just says
Thank
brutal with an underline.
Yeah,
I imagine.
It's a hell of a death.
I imagine
Mine.
your note is very much the same, B, just with a heart at the end of it.
God damn it! How did you know?
Oh, B. It's okay. We still love you.
He drills him in the sword arm, and then like in the side of the head, and then the chest, and it's all.
Didn't he drill him in the face too?
Yeah, I think then maybe like the neck
in the
or
forehead?
eye.
Yeah.
It was rough.
It's rough. Yeah, it fucking rules. It's so dope.
It was so good. The spilled the sour blue chug
so
rug all
good.
over the floor, and it's on
Yeah.
fire.
Quality death. Go watch it.
Yeah, it was a time.
It was a time.
Speaking of a time, back to back.
Yeah, literally. Leads immediately, like, he kills Sea Dragon 2, and fucking Ambassador Hell is at the top of the stairs, and he's like, "Damn you, Kamen Rider. Sea Dragon 3, reveal yourself." And he comes out and he's like, "I'm Sea Dragon 3. And now we're fighting that one.
And Sea Dragon 3 goes like, yeah, mwah. And
Entirely because of Gopher's video, I imagined when Sea Dragon 3 came out, a toilet flushing sound.
That's a quality bit. That's an evergreen bit right there is what that is.
Absolutely. Rent free.
Thank you to both Shakes and Gopher for that. Because I do recall that it was Shakes' original joke, but Gopher is the one who brought it to life, and for that we thank you.
I'm glad that meme has had such surprising staying power.
It's excellent. Every now and again, I'll just rewatch that video, and that is definitely one of the best bits.
I really only have one more note for this episode, though.
Tell me.
And this might be a controversial take, but Sea Dragon died 3 times in the course of 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Not even Cobra Man did that.
Damn.
Thus making him the biggest jobber.
Wow.
You know,
you have a point.
You do have a little bit. So I guess the question is, do we count Sea Dragon 1, Sea Dragon 2, and Sea Dragon 3 as the same entity? Or are they 3 separate entities?
If we want to be pedantic, we should count them separately. But,
right.
the spirit of the episode, this truly makes them feel like a single monster.
It's true.
A little bit, yeah.
But it is 3 cyborgs, and if we're even counting them all as a single entity, still got beaten 3 times. Mm-hmm. And only has, a dog as under his belt for the kill?
I think it is, in fact, just a dog. No, and the 3 construction workers.
Oh, 3 construction workers, okay.
And a cute truck.
And a cute truck. So the kill count's a little higher than Cobra Man. But...
Well, didn't Cobra Man blow up that boat?
Cobra Man might have blown up a boat.
That was Cobra Man, wasn't it?
Oh, goodness. I don't even remember. Just remember, we've been picking on Cobra Man for
Although
so
Cobra Man
long.
was scared of a dog, from my recollection.
Cobra Man was attacked by a dog. Anybody
Yeah.
will be scared by a dog if it attacks you first.
The dog dummy did die.
Yeah, Cobra Man did kill that dog.
Just took extra time. So,
Let's see. Cobra Man did kill a mook and a guard. And I think that's... I guess if we want to count Dummy as well. Oh yeah, and Cobra Man came back in the next episode and burnt a couple people. And yeah, the ship did get blown up.
Damn, I'm good.
well, I don't... Yeah,
Dang! Did we underestimate Cobra Man? We've been dunking on him for so long, but looking back, like, maybe he seemed inefficient, but he has, on average, like, in hindsight, a much better performance record than a lot of these other people.
considering he blew up a boat, would he even count in the average, or would he be an outlier? Like, I don't remember how the boat
I mean, the
ended
problem is,
here.
even if he is an outlier, he's an outlier in the positive, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's my point.
Even not including the casualties that I cannot perceive within the boat,
Mhm.
he still killed a decent amount. Like, he is still in the upper half, I think. For sure.
Yeah, I think maybe we've been dunking on Cobra Man unfairly, unjustly even.
I think we need to find a new jobber to pick on.
I think we
I
found
had one in mind.
this guy.
Oh no, I had someone who I think did worse than this guy.
That's
Because I guess to be fair though, we can't entirely judge it based on kill count. Because I mean, we love Chameleon Man, but I don't believe he
Yeah, I don't
actually
think he actually killed anybody.
Chameleon Man.
Or-
nearly.
No, he did. He did actually.
He also nearly succeeded in all of his goals.
Chameleon
This
Man
is
is
true.
competent, and that's why we
Like-
love him.
Yeah.
Kamen Rider did the switcheroo of him versus the Nazi Gold, and if it weren't for that, he would have succeeded and funded Shocker's organization even further. So he was very
This is
close
true.
to actually succeeding.
Who sucks? Mantis Man?
Mantis Man.
Roadkill?
Bee
Mantis
Woman?
Man got his Bee Woman was who I was gonna say, but I actually don't know how close Bee Woman was to achieving her goal. I don't know what the fuck her goal was.
Gassing people.
Okay.
Let's see. Sabotegron supposedly was good. Pyrosaurus. Which one were you? You were
Pyrosaurus
you
was
were the
one
guy who
killed
blew up a
bus and
ton
then
of people.
died.
Never mind. Pyrosaurus has got the highest kill counts. It's
Yeah.
like Scorpion Man.
Pyrosaurus
Probably
is
higher.
the only Shocker Kaijin that's killed himself.
Pyrosaurus was that one. He's also the only one, or one of two maybe that was returned to being a normal man, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
second
Pyrosaurus got turned back into a regular dude.
Who's the ugly lizard man who kicked rocks?
Oh.
Who was that?
Oh, episode 13 guy.
Godzilla
Fucking...
knockoff, yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck was his name?
Lizard Lawn.
Yeah.
Yes, Lizard Lawn. Lizard Lawn was
Lawn
pretty good.
sucks.
I mean, the suit sucks, but he did his job well. He beat Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider had to
Ken.
retrain in order to beat him.
Because he's
Ken, the soccer player.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
was
God.
definitely a shitty dude,
He sucked.
but he was an effective monster.
Yeah.
how effective was Hito Danger?
Hito
Which one was Hito Danger again?
Give me a hug.
Hito
Fossil
Danger.
Man. Was that the Trilobite guy? Or no, it was.
No, it's Starfish.
No, that's
that
the
was
starfish.
Trello, yeah, okay.
Oh, but he was just
give me a hug, cuz.
fun.
He was
And he
fun.
worked
Give me a
at
hug,
K-
cuz his plan even.
And he worked at Shocker Fried Chicken, so I
Yeah.
can't really resent him. I mean, he's a chill dude. He doesn't have to be the best. Let's see, Mothdar was good. We liked
Mothra wasn't
Mothdar.
bad.
Merman Amazonia. How about that guy?
Merman Amazonia, I recall being decently effective.
I don't.
He kidnapped FBI-ers.
He did.
We also have no, way to prove that FBI really exists, though, so might have just
That's
kidnapped
true.
You saw her? My eyes? Excuse me?
I don't know if any women talkie knows actually exist in hindsight.
It could just...
What the fuck does that mean?
They do just seem to kind of fade out of existence.
Yeah, it's
Right?
an
Like-
unreliable narrator looking at through the lens of the camera.
Me? I'm the unreliable
No, the
narrator?
camera is.
The camera is. I think we all agree that Musube doll sucks.
Well, yeah.
The Roadkill. Roadkill
Yeah.
sucks.
I forget what Flying...
That's-
Oh, Flying... He was the one who was supposed to
Yeah.
get the fucking explosive fuel. He
Yeah,
did have
you get the
it for a
explosive
bit.
fuel, and then it killed him.
What about
Yeah.
Egyptus?
I mean, he's cool looking.
Egyptus didn't have a plan, is the problem.
Egyptus-
All right.
Oh, no,
To be
wait,
fair,
no,
he's
I
a
remember.
dog.
The plan with Egyptus was to get him to tell Shocker where his gold was.
Oh
Which
yeah, they
they-
revived a real ass guy.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Well-
did get to someone to translate his shit, and he did start going, I. So, they were almost there.
I feel like we're getting close to what needs to be the bonus ranking of Kaijin episode.
You're right.
Yeah,
That's true.
we're basically at that point.
No, this is not
Before-
nearly as in depth as it will be.
I'm sure it will. But before we get off this segment, one last proposal for new jobber,
Okay.
Antlion.
What episode was Antlion?
Oh.
Or no, wait.
Wait, no, are you
Not
talking,
Antlion,
are you
the-
talking
the
about
one-
Antler Thunder, or are you talking
Antlith.
about...
The one whose episode wasn't named after them. That was Antler Thunder, right?
Yeah, that was our Botox queen.
Yes,
Oh.
Botox Queen Antler
I see,
Thunder,
Hmm.
who is here to introduce our new commander.
Yeah, that was basically all he did. I mean, he trapped a car? Yeah, you know what? I'd be willing to give it to Antler Thunder.
Like the plot wasn't even about Antler Thunder.
It wasn't. It straight up was not. Antler Thunder was in no way, shape, or form integral to that plot.
In hindsight, I feel bad. We really got to keep track of our jobbers better, because maybe
yeah, and a little bit nicer to cover, man.
we were just...
Look,
Yeah, Cobra Man wasn't as bad as a lot of these guys.
on paper, maybe Cobra Man seems better, but Cobra Man was a dinkus who lost his weapon. It got stolen by a dog.
Fair.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is that Cobra Man was a dinkus, and then they brought him back, and he was a dinkus again.
Yeah,
That's what really tarnished Cobra Man's record.
Mhm.
it's true, and he was pretty boring looking, all things considered, but I guess...
It was early.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
willing to come a break on that one.
I'm...
Because, I mean, by comparison, so was Scorpion, man.
Yes. We are learning a lot as we've come this much further. We are
God, yeah.
we are 60 episodes further in the series now from that point.
True that.
We are much better educated.
Yeah, things are different now.
Yeah.
If only we knew then what we know now.
We wouldn't have started Ichigo.
Yeah, I would have murdered chicks
No.
for even suggesting
Ichigo
I
great,
was on
but,
board with this idea.
I am too.
fucking clothesline
But
from hell.
man, just we're in it for the long haul sort of thing, which has been
I did warn
No,
you all.
you did.
I did say, I was like, are you sure?
We
It's 98
I'm
episodes.
We said yes,
I am-
and here
I
we
am
are.
sure.
Yeah,
Speaking of
here we are, 76 episodes
Speaking
later.
of 76 episodes later, how are we going to get to the 77th one?
Okay, there's one.
Well, first we have to kill Sea Dragon 3, huh?
Okay, I just want to call out, as they emerge from like the underwater shocker base back up top to fight, they both Kamen Rider and Sea Dragon 3 like just have footage played backwards of them jumping into the water, and it rules.
It's always good. So
it's very good. I was very happy. I think my favorite thing about it was watching Kamen Rider become dry. Because of the way his is shot and like the angle it's in, you can actually like see the water come off of him as he jumps back onto the land, and it's great. Other than that, though, yeah, there's not a ton to speak of for this particular fight scene.
There's a mook that gets like tossed away to the side, and the two kids start beating him up.
Yeah.
Taki gets a sword. That was neat.
Gotta love it.
But yeah, I guess the other thing to mark out on, we did not end this particular fight with a Rider kick. We ended with a Rider punch, which I thought was cool. We don't see Rider punch very often, so always happy when it makes a return. Oh god. I was reading one of my notes for the next episode, and I just remembered why I put that there. That'll be a thing to get to. Does anyone have anything they want to say about this episode before we wrap it up?
Despite
my piece.
Yeah, despite everything, this episode's pretty breezy and fun.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know, maybe it would have been better with just one monster, but I kind of like enjoyed like we get 3 kaijin deaths.
Yeah, it was very cool. I'm actually going to go ahead and take this brief moment to take a quick sojourn. Since you did mention it earlier, Pio, about how you've watched 01 now in between when you were last on the show and now, what kind of how do you feel? What do you think about just how different Ichigo is to kind of more modern Kamen Rider? How did that like strike you first going into 01, and now, to my understanding, you're done with it, if not just about done with 01.
Yeah,
right?
I've watched all of it except for the movie.
Yeah, so as much as I've seen,
all asterisk. So I kind of once it got to like the recap pandemic, production problem episodes, I skipped forward to new content. Because I know there's like some stuff in those, but I wasn't gonna sit for 5 hours for just watching mostly stuff I had just watched.
Yeah, no, that's entirely fair. But yeah, so what do you think? Just kind of give me a quick rundown of all of your thoughts as far as like, how was it when you first started watching 01? What's it like going back to Ichigo now? Thoughts on kind of how they differ from each other, things that you saw that were maybe the same, all that good stuff. Basically what the bonus episode was, or should have been, with me and B.
Well, with 01, definitely much higher like emotional connections like between the cast and the world.
Yeah.
And like it's having the enemy that like sort of there's a certain amount of them just being at times being evil for evil, but for the most part it's like they have even if it's not the world's most thought out moral stance, they have like concrete ideals.
Right.
And there's like a lot of interplay between Metsubo Jinrai and Zaya and the heroes. You got a bunch of different teams that like with a lot of shift, they all have their own things and they'll work with or against each other as the circumstances dictate. So it's a lot of fun matchups.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely, compared to Ichigo, it was a lot, more compelled to keep watching because there is, big overarching plots.
Yeah.
I like the main, like, I enjoy like the episodes of Ichigo, but I don't feel like a compulsion to watch all of them. or a compulsion to even watch them in order.
Right, yeah. Whereas with 0-1, because there is a driving narrative, it's really good incentive for you to just kind of keep, because you want to figure out what's going to go, what's going to happen next.
And kind of like the heroes are a lot less invincible in 0-1.
Oh yeah.
In Ichigo, it's like, how's he gonna get out of it? Well, he's gonna just gonna not be affected by the enemy, and then he's gonna hit his rider move, and they're going to explode.
Yeah.
For there may be a setback in the middle, but if at the end of the episode, or rarely the end of the next episode, he's gonna kick the guy and he's gonna explode.
Yeah, very very kind of what's your finisher so I can kick out of it energy. Whereas, yeah, with Modern Rider, they definitely make a point to show you multiple times that your heroes can and will bleed.
And there's, like, Kamen Rider he's definitely a hero. He definitely helps people, but he doesn't stand for something specific in the way that 0-1 does.
Yeah.
They hit, like, the theme of the show a lot. He is fighting for the human gears. He believes they have hearts. He believes they have dreams. And he's going to stick to those principles at all times. And, like, that, Ichigo, he's the V1, he's here to fight Shocker. He's here to stop Shocker. Though, they don't do much showing him, like, being, like, proactive in attempting to stop Shocker. It's a very reactive show.
Yes, yeah.
That, I suppose, there is, like, the implication sort of kind of retroactively folded onto, people having to go to Europe or Brazil to fight Shocker over there. But everything on screen is Shocker has done a thing and it must be stopped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say that has definitely been, like, the most interesting part for me, is just kind of, either out loud or mentally comparing Ichigo to Modern Rider, because there are so many ways where they are so different. It's real interesting to, especially it's extra interesting to be able to talk with people now who have seen those differences, especially when Ichigo was the first one they watched. Because as someone going essentially the opposite way, I watched a more Modern Rider first, and then I watched Ichigo. It's an interesting thing to be able to talk about.
But I don't know for sure, but I assume that a lot of, a lot of people who, would go on to create future Kamen Rider series were watching this one and looking at kind of like the missed opportunities or the unexplored avenues that we're all seeing, and that's kind of like formed the germ of their idea for their own shows, or informed the episodes they wrote.
Yeah, I think that I don't think that is unfair to state at all. I mean, we've already talked about, so many times how prolific Kamen Rider is, to the point where you can pretty much just assume, like, if you see something in some piece of Japanese media and you think to yourself, hey, I think that might be a Kamen Rider reference, like, the answer is probably yes, even if it isn't, like, intentional. Maybe even just subconsciously, it's probably a Kamen Rider reference. So, it would not at all surprise me to find out that a lot of people who went on to write for the show were people who watched it and saw those missed opportunities.
I'm very curious for the, let's see, I believe that new series or miniseries, the remake of Kamen Rider Black that's coming out,
yes.
And then Shin Kamen Rider. It's like people, go into these old kind of classic ones, and I'm curious to see their spin on them, especially Shin Kamen Rider.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we do get a little bit more of that, and I'd be extra interested in seeing if anyone starts doing that, but not going quite as far back, because, Shin Kamen Rider is a great target for that, because it's like a 70-year-old series at this point. Older than that now.
Yeah, 50.
Or, I'm sorry, 50-year-old series at this point. And, Black Sun as well, too, is a decent chunk old, but I would love to see someone visit some of the, like, Heisei Phase 1 stuff. Stuff like Kuga and Blade and Kiba, that's, it's not 50 years old, but it is like 20 years old or so, and just see what of that certain writers would see that they might do differently. I think that'd be interesting to explore, for sure. But with all of that being said, we will leave you, dear audience, to ponder what Kamen Riders you think you would want to watch or see re-explored in a new light, while we take a brief little sojourn to our ads, and then we're going to be right back with the second half of the episode. Y'all have a good one. Until then. Well, hello everyone. Hey, how you doing? Hope you've been enjoying the episode so far. Just wanted to take a quick brief break to tell you about some cool stuff. First of all, we want to, of course, send another thank you to our guest, Public Opinion, for stepping in for us on this episode. If you like Public Opinion and you want to check out more of what he does, you can follow him on Twitter at Public Opinion RP, or follow him on Twitch at twitch.tv/Public Opinion RP. And of course, if you want to follow the rest of the podcast members, you can follow us all on Twitch and on Twitter as well. You can find me on Twitter at KingFats95 and at twitch.tv/KingFats95. You can find Gopher at WillGopher on Twitter and at twitch.tv/TheMagicalWillGopher on Twitch. You can find Action Shakespeare at ThatGalInTheHat on Twitter and at twitch.tv/ACTNShakespeare. And you can find B-Drops on Twitter at BDropsArt and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BDrops. We also want to remind you to check out friend of the show, Tales of Harbor. Tales of Harbor is an actual play of the OVA role-playing system that happens to star Public Opinion, as well as our own B-Drops and Action Shakespeare, and it is hosted every other Friday by our wonderful editor, Wordsy. He is the GM, and he hosts it over on his channel at twitch.tv/Wordsy, so go check it out, tell him we said hi, go ahead and give him some support. Remember, if you want to check out all things Longtime Watcher, First Time Writer, you can find us on Twitter at First Ride Pod. Don't forget, we also have a SoundCloud and a YouTube. Just look for Longtime Watcher, First Time Writer. Longtime Watcher, First Time Writer on those places in order to be able to check those out. Also, we want to say again, please, reminder to, if you feel like you can, go ahead and pledge to the Patreon. Every little bit of dollary dues that you throw our way helps us ever so much, and we really do truly appreciate it. Just like we appreciate our two current $10 tier patrons, Deadode and Public Opinion RP. So, we've got a lot of cool incentives on the Patreon. One of those actually did already get met, so Gopher is working on that Silent Hills Monster Jelly Doll conspiracy theory video, I guess is the best way to put it. So if you want to see more silly stuff like that, like monthly streams and bonus episodes and all sorts of good stuff like that, please consider checking us out on the Patreon. But until then, thank you so much for listening, and let's get back to the episode. Hello everyone, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that little breakity break. We are gonna get right on back into it, keep this train chugging along as we go into Kamen Rider episode 77, The Monster Imoriges Showdown at Hell Ranch. It's
Yeehaw.
Original. Yeah, yeehaw indeed. If you want to watch Kamen Rider and Imoriges have a showdown at Hell Ranch, give me a hell yeah. Anyway, original air date September 16th, 1972, starts a little something like this. The episode opens with a boy named Toru talking to a girl named Hitomi, who is upset he won't play with her since joining the Kamen Rider Kids Corps. Toru is trying to explain these string of disappearances in town, thinking it is related to Shocker. That night, the Shocker Kaijin Nugeth breaks into a couple's home and attacks them, killing the woman and kidnapping the man. Toru sees this and sends a message to the Kid Corps HQ. Back at the HQ, Toru's vision arrives and the team is alerted to Shocker's activities, so Taki goes to investigate. Back at the Shocker base, Ambassador Hell speaks of Shocker's plans to build an airport underneath a ranch and orders Nugeth to keep kidnapping workers. Back at the ranch, a man notices a disturbance in his barn. He goes to investigate and is attacked by Nugeth. However, Hitomi sees this transpire. Shocker chases her, but she is rescued by Hongo. That's like the first half-ish of the episode.
Yeah. This plan is stupid.
It's pretty dumb.
The plan to build an airport underground?
Yeah, it's really bad.
Please. I need you to explain to me why could building an underground airport possibly be a bad idea?
Okay, so
yeah, I don't see any problems with it.
It's incredibly it's incredibly unique in its structure. So there's not really anything else you can use it for. You need to make sure that all of the planes that you have are able to launch on that specific runway, and if they're not, then it's not going to be able to be used.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a singular location, whereas it'd be easier to take over another airport. I'm pretty sure everyone here has experienced Metal Gear Solid 3. Does this not reek of the Shagohod and its runway? And it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. No, it's not.
No, but go for it. It's going to be great.
No.
It's going to be great.
No,
I can't see a single problem with trying to house aircraft underground and also keep them secret.
Yeah, because, like, let's say, it like, excavates, to bring, so it's like a hole in the ground. It needs to not only have the clearance to go up, but it also needs to have enough clearance just, like, as it lifts off, that it doesn't hit the ground as it leaves. Furthermore, they're going to get hit with a lot of taxes and fines as the government realizes there are planes that are being launched in airspace just at a ranch. It's just not going to be good. It's very impractical.
Because, Shocker, they're all about paying their taxes.
Yeah.
And practicality.
And one final thing. It's Shocker. So that opening in the ground is not going to work. It's never going to be really oiled correctly. It's going to be like, oh man, it's going real slow this time of day. Just slow enough for Kamen Rider to ride his motorcycle into it or something and kick us. And it's just like,
oh, absolutely. It's going to just be like a tunnel with a garage door.
Yeah,
like that.
It's just, this whole thing is poorly thought out. 0 out of 10.
I find it funny that you referenced the Shagohod thing.
Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong at all. I was finding it funny because you referenced it in a sort of like, this idea is just like the Shagohod idea, which was also bad, and not like a Kojima clearly stole the Shagohod thing from this episode of Kamen Rider.
I mean,
because that's obviously what he did. He's commented on Twitter before about how he watched the original Kamen Rider as a kid.
Sure did.
We just know for a fact that he did that.
I feel like if there was, actual footage of the runway, I'd be more on board with that, despite, our conversation just pre-break. But
No, there's no universe where this wasn't Kojima being like, I'm going to do that underground
the
airport.
Shago Had's runway wasn't underground.
Yeah, but it's also...
Was it not?
No.
No. It was just a regular runway. That's the point. It could use any runway. It doesn't need a sign.
It could
use any runway?
It actually worked.
Wow.
It did, but it also tore up the runway, which ruins the point. Just like a runway being underground ruins the point.
No, it's a battle tactic, you see, you know, salting and raising the earth, you know, it's strategic.
I feel...
You don't want your enemies to come.
I feel like you don't particularly
expensive runways.
need the runway to survive once you're at the all-out nuclear war stage.
I guess
exactly.
I guess that's also fair.
But is that why Shocker keeps letting their bases being blown up? Because they think it's tactical?
Yeah.
I don't have a better answer for you, so...
Alright.
Listen, you don't have to spend money on dismantling a place if somebody else just blows it up.
It's true.
And then you
Free
can just go collect the
demolitions.
scrap. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't come cheap, yeah. I mean, do you think these guys are actually, like, paying for safe explosives? I bet they're still using nitroglycerin, the fools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just got a big old jug of it, and someone just throws it at the site.
Yeah, listen, this is just Prime World jungle strats, alright? Sometimes the fastest way to get back to base is to let one of the jungle monsters kill you. And that's okay.
Alright, you convinced me this plan is actually really good. I'm curious to see how it works out then.
It's brilliant.
It's a bold strategy,
surely...
Cod, and let's see if it pays off for him.
Yeah, surely it'll be relevant for the rest of the episode, and we will see how it progresses.
I mean, there's no reason why that wouldn't happen, right?
I mean, I don't think so.
I mean, what else could they possibly get distracted with?
Gosh, by golly, I could not tell you. I could not imagine that they would in the first place.
Yeah,
I suppose we'll have to proceed, to show the evidence of Shocker's incredible commitment to their plans and their competency in enacting them.
Shocker is well known for being goal-oriented.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have them having made, 77 plans now? 76, sorry, there wasn't a plan last episode.
76 plans that have succeeded every time, because they're so goal-oriented.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, we should talk about Kool-Aid Man. Because we see him pretty early.
Yeah, way earlier than I thought we would. I thought they'd tease him a little bit more, but
I'll start off. Kool-Aid runneth.
Yeah, I'll start off with my first comment about him. He looks like a nerd's rope.
He do be looking like a nerd's rope is one thing about him you gotta know.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I point out the thing that I pointed out watching in the episode, which is that he is in fact covered in lizards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his left shoulder and arm, he's got 3 or 4 just big old lizards on there.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love that shit.
So, I thought that maybe they were going for kind of an undead thing with this guy.
I see what you mean in the face specifically. Yeah,
and I don't know, I feel like his blood water power is kind of spectral-ish. It's
yeah.
It made me think of what was that VR horror game about ghost hunting that came out that was really popular for a bit?
Phasmophobia?
That's the one that made me think about blood or filthy water coming out of taps was as a supernatural thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, his face is very skeleton-y. He's got blank white eyes, and his mouth is it's got the thing I don't, maybe one of the Left 4 Dead zombies has it too, where their lips and cheeks and the skin on the bottom half of their face is fallen down. So they got this big open skin
lizard.
mouth.
Yeah, there it is.
And then they got the bony jaw with its teeth inside the mouth.
Peeled lizard spit.
Yeah, honestly, visually, this is one of the cooler Shocker Kaijin. in a while. They just did a lot with this suit.
I don't agree in a while, but like if you look at the
yeah, okay, maybe not in a mile.
Like it's just a step up from the more by the numbers Sea Dragon. Like compare it to the Rose or Lauscules. It's like they were doing a lot with those suits too.
I'll give you Lauscules. I don't know if I'll give you Rosaronga.
Really?
I think they're doing more interesting stuff with this one. Like on the conceptual level, I mean.
I guess that's fair.
Rosaronga's kind of just got the no head thing. But other than that, it's kind of just by the numbers plant monster.
Fair.
Especially considering how many times they've done plant monsters before, too.
Mm-hmm.
Rosaronga is pretty by the numbers by comparison, whereas they've done lizards a good couple of times. And while there are clearly elements here that have been used by other lizard people, I don't think they've ever done a lizard person that looks quite like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's
it
fair.
It is the culmination of the whole, right? It is the sort of undead aesthetic that's going on with the head. It's the adding the lizards onto the body suit, I think there's actually a lizard, if I'm not crazy, at least in the picture that I'm looking at. It looks like there's a lizard that's like wrapping around the side and the back of the head.
Mm.
It's the fact that the bumps go down far enough that he has to wear his belt off kilter.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That is a nice touch.
Really, my only actual complaint with the suit is just the back of the legs, which we don't have in this image, but it was just like the tights, which is fine, but I feel like if you continued that pattern in all directions, it would have been really neat.
Yeah, for sure.
It's got like some kind of skin membrane wing type deal, stretching from his arms to like his back.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on with this guy. He's a cool suit, and I appreciate him.
Crunchy.
And he murders with tongue.
And he murders with tongue. He do be having that Yoshi command grab. That's one thing about him you got.
I already wrote it in the notes. So like people are gonna realize anyway, but I'm like, can we have like a Kamen rider that has like the tongue ability? I think that'd be cool.
That would be cool. Is there a Kamen rider that ever has a tongue ability like that?
I want like rider kick replaced with rider tongue. Just murders.
Yeah, on God. You want some rider tongue action? Relatable. Pivoting towards being serious again for a moment. I know in Ryuki there is a chameleon themed Kamen rider. So he might do cool tongue stuff. But other than that, I can't think of too many that would be doing tongue stuff. I can say for certain that there is a bad guy in one of my favorite Sentai series. Juken Sentai Geki Ranger. One of the bad guys uses chameleon style kung fu, and so she does a tongue attack, and that's neat. But not too many good guys that I can think of.
Yeah.
Chameleon in general, especially in Kamen Rider, I feel like tends to be like a bad guy animal. It is interesting what animals kind of get designated as good guy animals versus what animals get designated as bad guy animals, because it's not like the split you would think.
Would you be able to give us some of the surprising examples that you've encountered?
Moose are always evil.
Which one?
Moose.
I don't think I've ever seen a moose. But specifically, what I was going to bring up is crocodiles are always good. Specifically, crocodiles always start evil and then become good. Which is right. That's what like you wouldn't expect that, but it is a pretty common trope. Sharks are also usually pretty commonly good. Which that's another one of those ones where it's like, oh, you think that'd be like a bad guy animal. Scorpions are pretty commonly evil, but that's not too out there, I would say. I'm trying to think, because there's not a ton of like animal themed Kamen Riders anyways, is the thing. Or it's like if there is an animal theming, it's like a sub theming, so it's not quite as up front. I'm trying to think if there are any other ones from like... I'm trying to pull from Sentai knowledge as well, because Sentai uses animals a lot. But see, in Sentai, it's interesting, because Sentai has had chameleons be good and be bad. So, like, if it flip-flops on that one. Lions is one that also flip-flops a fair amount. That's pretty interesting. Depending on what series you're watching, sometimes lions are good, sometimes lions are bad.
Wonder if that one's about theming.
I think that one is about theming. Because, like, I know for... if I go like direct Sentai to Kamen Rider comparison, or actually I can even just go straight Rider to Rider comparison. In Revice, lion is a good guy animal, and it's used to represent one of the earlier Kamen Riders. And then in Forze, lion is specifically a bad guy animal, because it is specifically a reference to the Leo constellation that is part of the Zodiac.
You heard it here, folks. Leos are evil. Eject them from your lives. They're just kidding. I'm sorry. This is a joke.
Yeah, that's not fair, because in Forze, every member of the Zodiac is evil. None of them are good. That's like the point.
Okay, the point is every person, if they have a Zodiac sign,
Humans
eject them from your life. They are bad. I don't care if they're an Aries, a Virgo, Capricorn, whatever.
But especially if they're a Cancer, fuck them.
I'm sorry.
I have apologies to all people who have Zodiac signs in the chat.
Apologies to everyone.
Yeah, many Gomen sorry.
If you were born in a month, condolences.
How dare you?
But yeah, actually, also more importantly, who the fuck do you think you are?
Born in a month?
Where do you get off?
You too good to be Solomon Grundy?
I feel like I was more...
Who do you think you are?
I think I was born over the span of a week, not a month. Or a weekend, not a month. So.
But that weekend was in a month, right?
Perhaps.
Gruff.
See, there's your problem.
Yeah. See, this is what I've been saying.
Gopher, I trusted you. I thought you were my friend.
Yeah.
This is too far.
Speaking of evil people, Chakra decided to take the common code of honor and flip it on its head. You know how a lot of people say, we don't kill women and children? Well, Chakra says, we only kill women and children, baby. Yeah. That's how we operate.
Because women and children are useless, and we kill things that are useless.
Yeah, because we can't exactly build a labor force, including women and children, apparently.
That's against labor laws.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Kidnapping and enslaving men is not against labor laws.
Never has been.
Where were we?
At the start
Kool-Aid
of
Man
the
was
episode?
attacking these poor people. Yeah.
Yes, Kool-Aid Man was attacking the people.
Which I do want
we
to
kill all women and
I do
children.
want to comment on that just a little bit, just because this is more of kind of the classic going back to our Kamen Rider roots type stuff that we've been talking about. We enjoy a lot. More of that kind of pseudo horror elements with this, especially. I mean, really with all of when Newgeth enters a scene, but especially this one, just with the faucet suddenly running and then the water turning red and then like the red water pouring out from underneath the sink and everything, and it all just kind of starting to pool up until there's that big explosion and he just shows up. It's very cool. Just a dope entry device.
This monster's ability to like phase shift into liquid is pretty fun.
Yeah. As Ambassador Hell says it, he apparently has the ability to, I guess, like, he can teleport to anywhere where there is water. And apparently, like, the way he does that is he like, turns the water blood red, and then he just sort of poofs into the frame. It's kind of disappointing that the rest of his combat ability amounts to Yoshi grab, considering how cool that first ability is.
Yeah, I suppose the effects and their ability to use them with this whole, I don't know, I still have that impression that we are extremely flying by the seat of our pants at this point still.
A little bit.
I just feel like they've gotten a little more used to it, having flown by the seat of their pants for about a year now.
Right.
And, unless I'm just making excuses for him. I feel like literally every episode I'm like, yeah, but like, I don't know, they're doing week to week, and I'm sure they're tired and burnt out and have no clue what they're doing still.
That's the thing.
Yeah, no, I get where you're... Because you can always come up with some reason as to why it's not great. But also you can, at the same point, always come up with some reason as to why it should be better by this point. We're 77 episodes into the show. I get it that they didn't know what they were doing at first and they make the show week to week and it's difficult. But also we are still 77 episodes in. We could be doing better.
Well, it's... Though you kind of wonder, like I said, it's week to week. And like the nature of the show has changed a bit.
Yeah.
Several times. Maybe they just have not had the time to like really sit down and refactor and refocus because they got the next episode coming up now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that do be just how life feels, and I hate that.
Yeah, that's relatable for sure.
We're in the hamster wheel.
You just kind of gotta keep running. It's gonna be
fine,
okay.
it's fine.
Damn, yours is still working?
It's fine. We're fine.
For now.
Yeah, but I like their ideas. I want to give them benefit of the doubt that they're doing their best, and also Ambassador Hell made a cute little diorama, and I think that's very sweet. I have this weird image of him staying up all night gluing that thing together with the little bottle of Elmer's.
It'd be very funny if someone broke it.
Normally I'd lament it, but I guess he is a fascist.
Yeah, that's the only reason why it's funny.
I enjoyed like his diorama that is not like set up on a table or something. It is suspended from the ceiling, and inside, there's a section like it's a map of the area, and he like there's a part of it that he lifts up to reveal the secret underground airport.
It's very cute.
See, with a presentation aid like that, that's what you need to get people to fund your underground airport idea.
Exactly.
Yeah. Go to the Indiegogo campaign for Shocker's Underground Airport. Please do not question our logistics or we will break into your house and kill every woman and child inside.
And then blow up your dogs.
Yeah, and then
blow up your dogs. I'll slap your dog into the nth dimension, I swear to God.
Slap your dog and die.
Put the reverb on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm finding myself yearning for the countryside.
Oh, Sam.
Well, it's a good thing that the countryside is where we are. But also it's where we're gonna go, because we got to send Taki to the countryside to investigate. That's what that pigeon said. Don't worry about the fact that it didn't have a note on it or anything. That's what the pigeon said. Here's the thing that they don't tell you about the Kamen Rider Kid Corps, is that they don't actually write any notes onto the pigeons because Taki can speak pigeon.
Yeah. They teach that in FBI school.
Yeah.
Also, if you need a crash course, you can purchase Healthful Boyfriend on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
How about you just do that anyway?
Yeah, do it anyway.
Yeah.
Do it anyway. Please play the whole game.
Or else.
Yeah, get the true ending with Oku-san. That's the true end. That's it. That's the game.
And not the other true ending.
Don't worry about
the other one.
Don't worry about that other one.
Listen, I know you're going to see that achievement sitting in your Steam library and be like, man, maybe I should finish this game. I'm here to tell you. Don't worry about it. Listen.
Okay, now that they have their backs turned, I'm going to tell you, hey, you should definitely try that out. And when you're done, you should DM... What? No, nothing. It's fine. We'll catch up in a second. Okay, you DM me when you're done with that. We'll talk about it. We'll work it out.
Hey, B, check out this cool bug I found.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I would love to look at that.
Yeah, look at him. He's just dancing. Look at him. He's in it.
Wow.
What's happening?
I'm sorry, Pio.
What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity buck bumble. All right, off you go.
Okay, actually, slight tangent.
Did I somehow activate something with the Buck Bumble theme song?
No.
Okay.
I wanted to ask Pio something.
Ask Pio something.
How you feeling about these 2 episodes? You actually get to see Takeshi on screen.
I do. See a lot of him.
He's... Yeah, and boy, how do you see a lot of him. He has a penchant at this point in time of buttoning a single button on his shirt. It is his style. It is the 70s. Yeah. We approach getting dressed in the morning with reckless abandon, it seems.
I thought that, I seem to recall that, earlier on he was varying up his fashion kind of episode to episode, but this, bell bottoms, mostly unbuttoned white shirt, big belt with frill going around the back.
Yeah, the belt with the fringe.
Seems to be his his fit of choice for the past, several episodes at least, or 2 episodes.
There seems to be a trend. Early on, I think he had 3 outfits. He had his blue suit, and he had a riding outfit, and I don't know, something else casual. He'd occasionally cycle in something else for an episode, but now he's got outfits arcs, in a manga or something. So he'll wear one outfit for 10 episodes, and then he gets a new one.
It's probably actually just weird costume budget stuff, but yeah, it is interesting.
Probably. Yeah, I don't know, they started doing that at some point with Hayato when they finally started getting him out of the original outfit that he showed up in, and
yeah.
It's been interesting. I don't really know why this is a thing, though.
Yeah, I've not seen it talked about too much either. So I have unfortunately no real insight to provide. But yeah, it's It's just an interesting thing that sort of happened. It is extra interesting in that it pseudo happens in Modern Rider, but not exactly. Like, certainly in Modern Kamen Rider, there are characters that are supposed to have, like, a set costume, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, this is the thing that they're supposed to wear, because it's like, it's what designates them as a certain character. But usually, most of the time for characters, what it will be is there's like an accent piece that they will use to like designate a character, and they'll like make it the kind of an accent piece where it can like change over time with the seasons. So like since a lot of the Kamen Rider will like start in the fall and go into the winter, and that's when they'll be filming it first. Like usually a lot of times it'll be like a jacket, like a pretty heavy jacket that has some sort of specific design or cut to it that they can then, you know, transition into a lighter jacket as it starts to get warmer, or, you know, use it as some sort of other accessory piece of some kind. Just so that way, like, you can, you know, they don't keep the entire rest of the outfit the same every episode, but it's like, oh, that's so-and-so's jacket that they're wearing. That's how you know it's so-and-so's, because they've got the jacket. It's just, it's an interesting... Because I don't think they're trying to use it for the same purpose. You know what I mean? In Ichigo? Like, it's... In Ichigo, it's probably just entirely coincidental, but... kind of interesting to think that someone might have remembered that and thought that maybe there was a use for it outside of, you know, what it was initially used as. I don't know. Food for thought.
Tasty.
Steamed egg.
For now, we just have 70s. We just have professional stuntmen in 70s attire and all that you would expect that to entail.
Yeah, look, I'm not complaining.
No, I'm certainly not complaining. But I do love the later conventions of characterization through wardrobe that we don't really have here. I think we've seen it more in Tachibana than any other character.
Yeah.
Because there's just a certain point where his wardrobe just like immediately changed to make him the old guy.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But we love that for him.
Yeah, we'll never not love Tachibana.
And Tachibana didn't get to do much in these episodes, that's for sure.
No.
No,
Yeah.
He generally doesn't do much anymore.
I bet he's filming Ultraman. Bet you that's why.
Maybe.
I have no proof, but that's...
I mean,
that's my
Ultraman,
hunch.
like the original, or...
No, just like Ultraman.
Any.
Okay, because Ultraman was prior to Kamen Rider.
Yeah, no, I know. Original Ultraman was like the 60s.
Yeah, it's like 64.
Yeah, but I know he's been in a bunch of them.
Fair.
He's been in a whole bunch of just various tokusatsu stuff, so, yeah. Like, it wouldn't surprise me at all to find out, like, the reason why Tachibana started showing up less and less is because they were, like, you know, they had to work around another film schedule or something. But, who knows? That could also just be me assuming.
I mean, I don't know. He was in so much tokusatsu at the time. I wouldn't be that surprised if he had a lot of other work on his plate. And I mean, it's not like he hadn't been kind of cycled out largely once Taki started appearing regularly anyway.
A little bit, yeah. I do feel like they tried to incorporate him in more again once Hongo came back, since that was kind of like the original pair. But, I mean, it makes sense, because, like, he and Taki sort of served the same role, and honestly, for all intents and purposes, Taki sort of just does it better. So...
The only thing I really disagree with there is that I really appreciated Tachibana's role as sort of a mentor.
Yeah, for sure.
An older person who maybe not necessarily, understood how to fight, but he knows how to train people, and so he had a specific role in that, whereas Taki is not a trainer, but a partner, a sidekick, whichever you prefer.
Partner.
And I yeah, you're right. And I think they could both equally validly exist at the same time.
They definitely could.
I think it's a shame that they don't.
Yeah. It's it's one of those. There's somewhere out there in an alternate universe, there's a perfect world Kamen Rider that's got all of the changes we hoped for and wished for. But unfortunately, that's just kind of the nature of the beast. They say hindsight is 20/20. I think it's very easy to look back on Kamen Rider and see what things could have been done differently, and maybe even been done better if they had been done differently. But it's nigh impossible to say what it was like trying to make it at the time, especially if you weren't actually there.
To have been there.
That would be, yeah, truly. Would love to have been there.
I wonder if it wouldn't have been that hard to even get into this crew early on, given how not established and experimental it was.
Oh, you gotta be part of the Japan Action Club.
Yeah. That's a real easy in. Which, shout out to Taki wearing the... Was it this episode or last episode?
It was in this episode.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was this episode where he wears the Japan Action Club shirt for at least a bit. Before we swap back over to the Bumblebee fit.
Yeah, Taki has some looks this episode.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of... Is there anything we haven't touched base on that was read through the... Let's see. We did the opening, we did Newt Geth attacking the people, we talked about the diorama. Oh, now the only thing we didn't talk about was the barn attack. Although it sounded like you had something you wanted to bring up, yeah.
Oh. Did we mention the tongue kills people? Did we mention it like burns them to dust?
We did not.
We didn't, because I forgot it does that because we only saw it do that once.
Yeah. Well, when he gets the grip on Kamen Rider with it, he does like start smoking. So.
Well, yeah, but that's just Kamen Rider. He's just like that.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, alright.
Yeah, no, I entirely forgot that the tongue, because really, yeah, they only do it the one time in the whole episode. They turn that one woman into sand, and then never again. It's like not even mentioned.
I guess spoilers, he doesn't really kill anybody else, so...
Yeah. Yeah, spoiler alert, bad at kaiju.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I guess. To be fair, this is rather common. In episodes where they're abducting people, they don't kill a lot.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious, given that they literally start the episode off with the premise of, we are going to kill many people because we deem so much of the populace useless. But
the problem is they're bad at murder. Can't even kill a child.
They're very bad at murder and
no cheeseburgers.
Very bad at logistics.
No, they earn cheeseburgers. Those are easy enough to earn. You just gotta hurt the kid.
Oh, cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what you must do.
Yeah. All right.
He puts on his iron glove with spiked knuckles built into it.
Yeah.
What is this image where I have all sorts of specialized weaponry?
See, all you need. It's like a meat tenderizer, but
I do have a meat tenderizer.
Yeah, it's just a gloved version.
I do enjoy this image of B in like full butler dress, but completely on their Casey Jones shit. Just like with a bag of whatever blunt objects can be used to bludgeon a child, and like walking around with like brass knuckles, just being like, "Where's a kid I can punch?"
It is lunchtime,
Yeah.
and I could use a cheeseburger.
Got the hockey mask on and everything.
Punches your child square in the face, you just go, "Oh, sorry," and then you get a cheeseburger.
Listen, if I punch you again, you too can get a cheeseburger. What do you say, kid?
Yeah. See, that's the real secret to that bit, is you just make it a lucrative deal for the both of you. You're just like, "Hey, look, kids, I get cheeseburgers if I hurt children. If you
it's
let
one
me
of those
hurt
like
you
I'll give you a
yeah.
Like I'll give you $1 million if you slap your best friend, and then obviously if you're truly best friends with that person, you'll both slap each other.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Fucking, it'll be the running double clothesline spot.
Even if you're not, just think of the amount of things you could do to benefit people's lives by just doing a slap.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I will literally pay you like $20,000 if you let me slap you.
Done.
Like,
you can throw a nail in that slap. I don't care. It's $20,000.
Go buy me a house.
Yeah, honestly. I would ask if you can get multiple payments. If someone says slap your best friend for $1 million, I'd say, could I slap them twice for $2?
Yeah, really. What are we working with
here?
here?
How far can we go?
Can I input a heavy tatsu and just like get $10 million because I kicked my friend in the face 10 times?
I file my nails into more of a claw shape. Can I just go like paw, like fingers forward to the neck and just get like 5 million?
What is a gut punch worth?
If I break their leg.
Yeah.
Okay.
How much does that get me?
Look. If someone's offering you $2 million and has the means to prove it and actually give it to you, please break my legs if that's what it takes. Like,
yeah, seriously. Listen, I'm not going to be mad. I'm just going to ask you to pay for the hospital bills.
Yeah,
you can afford it.
Yeah, you're going to pay my like $15,000 medical bill. It's going to suck for a few months for me, but then neither of us have to worry about food ever again.
Damn, seems cool.
Right?
Wow. We've solved the economy.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Anyway, Kamen Rider.
Were we not talking about Kamen Rider?
Why is every worker in this series who is unnamed wearing a white shirt and a black bow tie? I don't know. It's kind of adorable, but...
I mean, this is going forward a little bit, but you do have a fair point.
Sorry, yeah, I was just thinking of the scene that leads up to it. Right, we're at the farm.
Yeah, we're at the farm. We're watching the man get attacked as he goes out to his barn.
We're watching he's in his little farmer fit.
He's got the wide brim hat. He's got the towel around the neck. He's got the shirt. He's got the pants with the rubber boots. The only thing he's missing is the old timey. I want to say girdle, but it's not that because it didn't squeeze anything in. But you know what I'm talking about,
He can
right?
use like a stomach warmer.
Yeah.
Maybe a bandana, and he needs to be carrying one of those brass kettles that's just full of water for him to drink while he's out working.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely idyllic.
Yeah, idyllic Japanese countryside imagery. Only yesterday. Go watch it. I don't think I know anyone else who's watched it. It is not a popular Ghibli movie.
Oh. Well, that means we're going to see it eventually.
Yeah. Speaking of see eventually, thank God somebody sees his father getting accosted.
Yeah.
Eventually.
It is his daughter.
Unfortunately, it's his daughter.
Great,
yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, she also gets spotted by not just the soccer Lukes, but by Takeshi himself.
Yeah. And so Takeshi does that thing that he's so good at doing where he beats up shocker people. And I love it. I love when he does that.
He
Also,
he almost innovates the GTS on one of these guys. He has him up in the fireman's carry, and then he puts him down and knees him in the gut. And it's like, you could have.
You were almost there.
If
you
you
were
just
so
kneed
close.
him in the head, it would have been. He would have got it.
We also get another fun example of Kamen Rider just like being way too rough with a child.
Okay,
on
good. I
set.
was also going
Like,
to
just
comment on that.
swinging her
whipping her
around.
around. Yeah,
Yeah.
just swing. I hope she had fun. Because
I
he's
would.
just whipping her.
Yeah, and it's just so normal on this show. I'm like, I guess they really either wanted to sell how dire the situation is, or the kids and parents don't care.
I mean,
So you
look,
just like grabbing the kids with one arm and just like throwing them across the field.
as someone who has recent enough memories of being part of the raising process for a small child, because I have a younger sibling, sometimes kids just like that shit.
Yeah.
It's fun, yeah. It's one of those things where I can understand the perspective of being the kid, and it's just fun.
Yeah.
But as the person who is watching a kid get flung around, I'm like,
I don't. Yeah, like I don't know how I did this in hindsight, but when I was a young kid, my dad would pick me up and then like literally throw me onto the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
like
that's a classic.
Yeah.
My personal favorite, my dad would pick me up and throw me, because I had one of those as well. But it was specifically when we would go to the local water park, because they had this big old wave pool, at the water park. You know, one of those pools where it would shoot out the automatic waves every now and again. And so what would happen is we'd be sitting there, we'd be waiting, the wave would start up, my dad would grab me, pick me up, and just yeet me right into the oncoming wave, and I would just float back to him, and I'd be like, I gotta do it again. Because truly there's nothing more fun than being thrown into a wave. Throw your children into a wave. They'll have a great time.
Wait a minute.
Overhead, chuck that child into the wave.
Literally, yeah, just yeet that man. It is interesting how much enjoyment you can derive for a child by just kind of picking them up and throwing them at something.
That's kind of one of the most fun things about being a child, that adults are just so much bigger than you and just can throw you for fun.
It is weirdly enjoyable.
Speaking of weirdly, I don't know, I don't really have any more comments about that scene with Takeshi fighting the mooks that help Hitomi.
Speaking of weirdly, are we weirdly to the next half of the synopsis?
So there's one bit where, a game before the barn fight, where they get, I believe, Taki gets there to find like some of the Rider kids have beat him there, and they're wearing like costumes.
Yes, this is in the second part. We hadn't actually gotten to this just yet.
Okay.
So if you'd like, I'll go ahead and read the rest of the synopsis, and then we can talk about it. All right. So, meanwhile, Taki is finally coming to town when he hears about the disappearances and decides to investigate. While looking around, he runs into Naoki and Mitsuru, who introduce him to Toru. While speaking, they are attacked by Newtgeth, but they are rescued by Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider fends off Shocker, and Newtgeth runs away, while when Toru and the Kid Corps meet Hitomi and get her injuries taken care of. Back at the hotel, Taki and Hongo are talking about the situation when Hitomi leaves to go home as she's worried about her big sister. Toru offers to take her home, and the two are attacked by Shocker. Hongo and Taki go after them, and Toru, Hitomi, and her sister are all attacked by Shocker. Hongo and Taki are investigating when they are told by Shocker that they have the kids. Hongo goes to rescue them, and with Taki's help, they are able to save them before they can get burned alive. Hongo then defeats Newtgeth, and he, Taki, and the boys go home. So yeah, this is the bit that you were talking about, is as Taki goes to like a local shrine or something to to look in on the situation. And Naoki and Mitsuru just kind of are like, hey, we got there before you somehow.
And they got that kind of wandering swordsman get up with the big cloak and like the straw kind of hat that's shaped a bit like a dish, kind of flat but curved down to at the edges.
Mm-hmm.
They mention a guy, Kunisuda Chuji, as like being from the area, as explaining. And I looked this guy up. He's like kind of like a Robin Hood-esque figure of Japanese history. You know,
oh, neat.
A criminal type who fought against the oppressive structures and helped the poor.
How apropos.
He had a lot of films made about him, like in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But his Wikipedia article is very short in English.
That also sounds about right. So it goes. But yeah, it was cool to see them to shout that out. Just a little bit. It's always nice to be able to learn from history. I'm trying to think of any other like really major moments from this half of the episode. But aside from the guess who just got yelled at bit, there's kind of not anything until we get to the last fight scene.
Yeah. There is one bit.
Please.
Or actually no, wait, this is before the waterfall, right? Still?
This would actually be post waterfall.
Okay, so after the waterfall there is a scene, and I don't know why it struck me as so weird, but they're walking through a barn and there's just a cow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of like, it's not, I don't know. I just thought they'd use that cow or it wouldn't be there, but it's just like cow sort of lingering in the shot. And I appreciate that cow.
Yeah, I mean...
We are actually in the countryside.
Cow in the shot. What will he move?
Alright, well, for the waterfall scene...
God.
The waterfall scene.
You mean scary?
It was precarious, and I did enjoy how the grand finale of the waterfall scene is a Newt getting pelted with rocks by children, or getting rocks thrown near him by children. Yeah. I don't think any of them actually hit.
Probably not.
I don't know if they actually did, but I'd like to assume they did.
Some of those were pretty big rocks.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then he slips and falls off the side like an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. It's very good. Thank you for falling off this waterfall, you stupid dick.
Congratulations on the Kamen Rider Corps for really getting in there and providing some assistance with all those rocks.
Good on them.
Yeah, I love to see them be proactive in the combat.
Mm-hmm.
We did have a moment of it last episode. I don't believe we brought the highlight to it.
I believe P.O. mentioned it. I know I heard someone did.
Yeah, where the kids were pummeling a mook.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't. Was it a mook?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Because I think Hongo like takes out a mook, and he rolls over to where they were hiding in the grass, and they like pummel him. Cute little spot.
Yeah.
Lots of cute spots with these kids.
Yeah.
Especially Hitomi. I don't think we took any time to actually acknowledge this, like in the notes or in the episode watching or anything. But this This actress is adorable. And she does her part so well.
Cute little kid.
Yeah. Cute little kid. I forgot.
Speaking of cute little kids.
This is jumping ahead a little bit. But I forgot. So I mentioned that Shocker lets Hongo and Taki know that they've got the kids. What I didn't mention is the way they do that is with the classic patented technology of throwing a knife that can speak in the direction of where Hongo is.
Love them.
I forgot that when that happened, I wrote the note, Return of the Walkie Stabby.
Immediately before that knife is thrown, you got Hongo and Taki like backs to the camera looking out over the scenery.
Yeah.
And Hongo is wearing those pants, let me tell you.
Yes, he is.
Oof.
Yeah. Hoofta. That's Hongo for you, baby.
Yeah. Are you enjoying this set of episodes a little bit more, perhaps?
Listen.
I will say, like, I mean, Hongo still a looker. I do kind of miss the more tortured, like, haunted aspect he had early on in the series, you know?
Yeah, old transhumanism Hongo.
But, I mean, you all have covered that ground before.
we've beaten that horse to death.
Small spoiler alert for the very end of the episode, but it's just like it really shows the shift of Hongo not being this tortured soul anymore, because he leaves and he doesn't have like his grimace on, and he's not alone and brooding.
Yeah.
Absolute
banner moment for Hongo. He doesn't just fuck off by himself.
Yeah.
He goes home with his friends.
Messed up.
Yeah, really. How's he supposed to go to Denny's like this?
I'm gonna have to wait.
With a strut.
Yeah, maybe.
Sometimes
you just gotta walk into the Denny's with a strut.
Listen, sometimes even if you're just really upset, you just gotta going, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're cute, you just gotta act like you are.
Damn straight. Those are words to live by, B.
Yeah. I will give this advice to everybody and then probably never follow it.
You should follow it.
Life. Oh, so much countryside.
So much countryside.
Every time,
there's really not much else to this episode besides countryside.
Yeah, every time I think of what to say about this episode, I'm like, I don't feel like we truly focused on the plot that Shocker had for the underground.
We didn't. We
Yeah.
mentioned it and then did nothing with it. Like, we didn't even show people working on it.
We
didn't see.
It was less of a plot and more of a catalyst to go to a place to fight.
Yeah.
It did not matter nearly as much as like the kidnapping people for forced labor did in that Mole Man episode.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, like they've done this well before, but they kind of just completely dropped it. We never rescue workers. We never even see them. And we don't even see any more abductions after that one at the opening of the episode either. Despite the fact that other characters within the episode, like townspeople, will, continue to mention, like, oh, so many people have been kidnapped, you better leave, like, this town's done for.
Mm-hmm.
But we never truly commit to the plot in any meaningful way. I don't know if we solved anything. Where are those people? Did we actually stop the bunker from being made? Or not the bunker, the airport, whatever.
Oh.
Sorry, my brain tried to think of a better idea for a second, and I was foolish for it.
Hitomi's dad is there at the end, and he was kidnapped, when she witnessed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just another one of those things where we're just left to assume, like, oh, we poisoned 50 billion people. We never say we're going to fix them, but we got the antidote at the end, so you're just going to assume whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, see you next time on Thunder.
Yeah, it's by technicality you could say it's not a loose end, but I don't think it's fair to actually recognize it as not being one.
Yeah.
Like, what 12-year-old watching this is going to, if they're actually trying to follow the plot, be like, oh, all the workers were saved. Thank goodness. Kamen Rider totally saved all of the people who were kidnapped, because we never see it, and nobody ever says it.
Yeah.
I don't think most kids are going to pick up on the nuance of this one character showing up for 1.4 seconds at the very end.
Yeah, really. Although, who knows? They always say you should give kids more credit for their intelligence, so...
I totally agree, but it's less of a kids are stupid thing and more of a, this is mixed storytelling.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like a gaping plot hole. I don't know. This is a path we've gone down a lot.
Yeah, I feel
Just
bad saying
it
it
keeps
because I
happening
want to
is the
highlight the
problem.
good points.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I'm right there
and-
with you. I would rather talk about things that are positive about the episode than things that are negative. But the problem is that the things that are positive are only kind of memorable, and then when you have to think about what else is there to talk about in the episode, it's just kind of like, well, there's that
I got
negative
some positive things
Hit
to
me
talk
with them.
about in the next section.
If you want to
Yeah,
swap
I have
sections,
some
go for it,
things
Gamer.
as well. It's just one of those things where, like, following the episode, I want to highlight the things they did well and not just complain like a nitpick. But it's very much a case of
Yeah.
they didn't write a story for this episode so much as they wrote a premise, and it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, there was a suggestion of a plot.
And that's just disappointing if you're actually putting in the effort to keep up with it. And maybe I'm putting in too much effort, but I don't know. I think diehard fans,
Mhm.
young children in the 70s, truly would have been trying their best.
I know we've mentioned it before, but I'm ready for something different beyond Ichigo. Like, we always preface it with, like, don't get us wrong, we're enjoying it, but, which is true. I think we're still also enjoying it, but,
I think, to be fair, part of it is that it almost feels like we can get that impression from the people working on the show themselves at this point.
yeah, no, I want to talk about how this stacks up with the late Showa era Godzilla films, because it's got similar vibes of, like, energy.
Oh yeah, they're just cranking it out.
Yeah, they're just like, oh man, we've done this plot before, screw it. And
It's fine, we got a new monster, it doesn't matter. Godzilla throws a rock and maybe does a timely joke. I don't know.
you like Gigan again?
We done Shay yet? Let's do that.
What about Megalon?
Akatsuka's real popular these days. I still can't believe that happened.
I cannot believe. Why did they make Godzilla and Anguirus talk? I don't understand. Why did they do that in the dub of Godzilla vs. Gigan? It's such a dumb
Okay, well,
decision.
first of all, you're watching the dub, so that's a mistake.
I couldn't find the original Japanese versions for those films.
Hold on, wait, I
so
have a
had
question.
to just watch the dubs, and it was terrible. Jesus. Yeah, what's your question?
Do they only talk in the dub?
Yes.
What?
The dubs are bad. They revise
They're
a lot
so
in weird
bad.
ways.
No, I understand that, but why would you add making Godzilla and Anguirus talk?
Again, the dubs are bad, and they revise a
There's
lot of
a
things
limit.
in weird ways.
What's even
No,
worse?
not for the old dubs. There is not.
Jesus.
Like the old dubs are fascinating for different reasons, and how like you can slowly start to see them piece together. Like some good actors for some films.
Yeah. There's like no integrity for decades.
No.
Is the point. This
I could only
Anyway.
yeah, that's a whole other thing. I could go on so
Alright.
much.
So
yes.
All right, go for it, Pio. Hit us with some positivity.
Well, okay, so if you read the next section of the synopsis, it was lost to me.
No, I've read the rest of the synopsis. I finished it. I think Discord, for whatever reason, stopped picking me up because I never actually disconnected.
Oh,
I heard y'all the
well,
entire time
Yeah.
when you were talking about how I disconnected.
Oh.
That was really weird because you it did the whole with the noise you dropped from the list.
Nope, internet was still connected. I was still all green on the bars and everything. I could hear y'all just fine, but I definitely noticed that my little thingy was not turning green every time I said something, and I was like, "Boy, that's fucky."
Well, glad that we got it attended to. No clue what the issue was, but glad it is working now. Apologies. Yes, we absolutely did not hear you. The last thing that happened for us was I was talking about how I truly believe that the child fans of the time were doing their best to follow along.
I remember that.
Followed by a long silence that made my heart fall out of my butthole.
Yeah, I remember that because I
pick it back up?
transitioned into telling PO to talk about the positives he had mentioned. And then I was like, why isn't PO listening to me?
And I was like, everybody hates me now. I don't know what I said, but I'm gonna go
we'll
die
never
over it.
hate you,
Ain't that a
P-Jobs.
mood?
You could murder
So-
someone in front of me and I would still love you.
Depends who
Anyway.
you murder for me.
Anyway, I thought it was cool when Taki showed up with a katana
Yes,
and the cool hat and just
Yes.
it was a good bet.
saving people.
Also, 0 days since our last
Yeah.
crucifixion.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
shout out to the triple crucifixion. Rise up, gamers.
Yeah, it's quality. We love to crucify children.
It's high quality.
I also just think it's very funny how they tried to play up Taki's appearance. I assume as if he were this wandering historical figure. He just rolls onto the scene in costume, like, hello, yes, people in need. I am but a wandering Ronin here to help the people of the countryside. And then he does. I think most of us expressed disappointment that he discards his attire pretty quickly,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
But I will not let it upset me too much because Taki does get a sword and he does a bunch of murders with it, and that's cool.
Very good.
Incredibly good.
In the background of this fight scene, the Ambassador Hell has some problems keeping his cape under control while doing action.
That's very funny, and I didn't notice it. And that's a shame.
I only noticed it because I thought at first that Taki had thrown his cloak onto him, and it was like an attack that he was suffering from. No, it was as he got it straightened out, it was just his own cape.
The little rep.
Yeah, he's having a bit of a malfunction. I assume that they never really tested this costume specifically for this kind of movement. We've had him around for 20 episodes, and he's never done more than walk across the room.
Yeah, really. Not very active, Ambassador Hall.
Man.
Speaking of, Pio was also bringing up the point of how his helmet sits right under his bottom lip, just cupping his chin, which also probably can't make speaking that easy either.
But he seems to get through his lines well enough.
Yeah.
Proud of him.
When did Ambassador Hell show up? Because he's in the thumbnail for episode 55, but I think he was around before that.
Ambassador Hell's first episode, if I recall correctly, is Jaguar Man, which is the first episode when Hongo comes back permanently and Hayato leaves. I don't remember
that's
what episode that was.
So that's
Yeah.
these 24 episodes in. I think that's a much longer run than what's his face or
Zol
Dr.
or
Shinigami.
Yeah.
I was actually really hoping you were going to say what's his face or what's his face.
No, I remember Dr. Shinigami because he had a gimmick. He was a vampire.
Yeah,
Colonel
Dr.
Zol had a
Shinigami
mimic,
and
or a
Colonel
gimmick.
Zol.
He was a
He's a gimmick.
face-changing werewolf.
Well, we didn't know about the werewolf part for a very long time.
Yeah, he was just a Nazi.
He was kind of just a Nazi who liked to crop people.
Yeah. And he had the Hot Wheels desk.
Oh my god, the Hot Wheels desk. Every time you bring it up, I wonder how I forgot.
How can you forget about the Hot Wheels racetrack desk?
I don't know, and I surely will again.
Where he would sit and be sad when his monsters blew up.
His stupid, ugly, stupid monsters. Goodness. Ambassador Hell has been, he really has been around a long time. I hadn't really thought about it, because, compared, Zol wasn't around a whole lot, but Dr. Shinigami just felt like he was around for a long time, but, neither of them really did anything.
The difference also is that Dr. Shinigami had the benefit of leaving and coming back. Because Shinigami tags out for Ambassador Hell and then comes back and then dies.
Ambassador Hell is truly living up to his costume, and he is just kind of a cockroach on the wall.
Just sticking around. Even though I've slapped him with my flip-flop 8 times.
God. He's here and we'll get him eventually, but for now we have other things we need to attend to, I guess.
But soon he will reveal his full power. You just gotta believe.
I believe.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited. Minor spoilers. We did obviously watch the preview for the next episode at the end of this one, and I really don't think that's him, and I felt a little disappointed.
No, yeah. It was definitely the actual monster for that week who was doing the Jikai, which I'm glad that we're still doing it.
Yeah.
Also, to that end,
it's very fun.
I want to point out that in both of these episodes, the Jikai mentions coming back to that channel to watch the next episode. That was just a fun little bit of meta-narrative for me.
Please come back to shoutfactorytv.com/Kamen-Rider.
Same bat time, same bat channel. And you'll get to see.
Yeah.
I can actually transition into talking about what we're going to watch next time, unless anyone else has anything else about episode 77 they want to say. I feel like we done got it all out.
Well, we gotta talk about how this guy dies.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
He takes a rider kick classic, just head on.
Yep.
And it doesn't kill him.
Eats that shit like it's nothing. Says you gotta get up pretty early in the morning if you want to kill the Newtgeth.
And then, they tussle a bit more, and he gets it with that rider screw kick.
Yeah.
And the Newtgeth is still just standing there. It's like you're thinking, oh god, did he survive that one too?
I legitimately did.
Yeah, no, it was legitimate little bit of suspense. But then you realize he's not moving. Then his arms blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really got me. My note actually says, rider screw kick, ellipses, wait. As I was waiting to see if that was actually the death blow, because we've had enemies survive a rider kick, but we've never had enemies that have survived the attack that comes after a rider kick, generally. That's the super finisher. So I was like, oh my god, is this a first? But no, I don't know if they were playing off of tropes with that, the samurai movie tropes of they get attacked and they stand there for a minute before collapsing.
That's a good call. That might well be what it is.
Yeah, I think it might have been something like that. But yeah, this dude explodes. Chunks of him just explode, and then there's this great scene from behind where you can see the foam part of his makeshift body like for essentially all of his like internal shit while he's on fire and just kind of standing there with no arms. It's a great little shot.
It's fun. Yeah, they really got me. Oh, I have 2 very minor notes outside of the death scene. First of all, Kamen poggers. His whole ass jaw is hanging open again, which is great.
Love that for him.
I don't know. It's always fun. I completely forgot what this note was for, and I had to think about it. My note just reads, "Ouch, bro, stop." And it was when he stepped on his tongue.
Oh.
And I was entirely expecting another kind of lizard man situation where he'd cut or rip or something the tongue, because it's clearly his bread and butter for combat. And that didn't happen. I must admit I am both a little surprised and disappointed. Yeah. It seemed like maybe it seemed too obvious, though.
They did spend a lot of the episode selling that tongue, though.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely being set up for that, but perhaps not this time. I don't know. I also can very much relate to the feeling of, I made thing. Someone says, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if this happened?" And then I'm like, crud, that's way cooler than what I did.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can all, no, not all of us. I imagine Pio can't relate to that very much, but I'm sure all the rest of us can relate to that, that situation having happened.
I don't think anybody has ever been so perfectly talented to actually execute what's in their mind. If they exist, then if anybody's ever done something exactly the way they wanted it, I'd be impressed.
Fair enough.
That's my ideal superpower.
Yeah, would love to be able to just take image in brain and put onto paper.
My ideal superpower is being able to just turn off certain thoughts. I think that'd be rad.
I think that would be great. I
just want to teleport.
Or shapeshift or teleport, yeah. Those are both.
I don't want think. I think bad.
Well, you just gotta talk to Ambassador Hell, and he'll grab his drill.
Yeah.
Yeah, freaking pull out my entire cerebrum, you stupid asshole. Do it. I'm
shall we wrap this up?
It's always great.
He tries to drop kick Ambassador Hell.
It's like that trick that science teachers do, where they suck a hard-boiled egg into like a bottle. He just takes a heated up glass bottle and claps it to the back of your head.
Oh my god, I need to sign up for this shocker therapy immediately. He's just gonna slurp the gray matter out of my skull and I will be free.
I feel like you could just get someone else to slurp the gray matter out of your skull and not have it be a Nazi.
Who's going to want to do that? Yeah, that's
legitimately.
I'm sure there are people.
There's always more fish in the sea.
I'll refrain from...
You trying to slurp some gray matter? Go for it. It's cool if you want to. We're not going to judge.
No, look, all I'm saying is that if you want someone to eat your brain, you can just visit an internet forum and schedule it.
Yeah, but 1, those are internet weirdos that we don't know, and 2, they're probably also going to flake on you. Ambassador Hell is trustworthy.
I don't need any more flakes in my life, Gopher.
Oh, fair, but it's is it worth...
Is it worth working with a Nazi to have smooth brain? Probably. Look. We've all done things we didn't want to in the past. And if someone tries to call you out about that time you did a thing with a Nazi, you can just have plausible deniability because your brain's smooth. You don't remember. As far as you know, that guy's name was Steve. I'm
incapable of forming and retaining memories now. So
brain smooth. Don't know what to tell you, brother.
There's nothing in there.
You could roll water off of this motherfucker.
My autonomic processes might possibly still work. We'll
Use
see.
this shit like a goddamn fushigi. Y'all remember fushigis?
No, please elaborate.
Do you actually not remember fushigis?
I feel like if you describe them, I might. I am simply not the best with names.
For whatever reason, in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, someone was like, I know the hot new thing that all of the kids and teens are gonna want to do, and I'm going to make a commercially available way for people to learn how to contact juggle.
Oh, the metal ball.
The ball.
Oh my god, yes, that was
fucking fushigi.
Yeah, but if you just told them that there was such a phrase as contact juggle, it would lose its mysticism.
Yeah, its luster.
Ooh. Yeah, you give it a vaguely Asian name and you get to pretend that it's new and exotic and
even though the commercial was literally only white people doing it.
Oh, of course. They're not going to buy it if Asian people use it. Are you kidding?
Because Asian people love contact juggling.
Disclaimer, I'm an Asian. That's where the salt is coming from. This isn't me being racist. I'm sorry.
And you know what? Even if he was being racist, fuck off. How about that?
No.
Stop being mean
please.
to my friend, or I'll be racist at you.
No, I don't want to be racist. I assure you that I very much care about not being racist.
Y'all know me. I love race.
I just have a lot of salt content between my diet and also having been ethnically canceled as of 2 years ago.
God. I'm sorry? Did someone on Twitter say you weren't Korean enough?
No, it's just that East Asians aren't the most popular demographic since a certain global event
that's
started.
fair.
Yeah.
That's many stupid layers of bullshit that I'm sorry, B.
Yeah.
It's okay. I only wish that I had COVID in a spray bottle to spray those people with. But no, that's bad. I don't actually want to spread. Disclaimer, I don't actually want to spread COVID-19. Also have never been a carrier.
Those are also the people who are gonna go and not be masked up anyway.
Oh, very, very possibly,
they're gonna
yes.
get it.
Bummer.
My rights.
Yeah, my rights. Making me wear a mask is oppression.
All actual oppressed people side-eye so hard.
I'll kick you in the neck.
Even non-oppressed people, really.
Even saying non-oppressed
any
people
sensible
just
person.
On God? Sure, brother.
On God, this is the hill you have chosen.
Boy, we went places.
No, yeah, I'm sorry. This is very off topic, and but
I mean,
this might be cut out. If it's not, I'd like to say, hey, please stay safe, even in this year, 2022. Precautions are very much recommended,
especially now.
It is becoming endemic, but that doesn't mean that it has less risks involved with potential long-lasting or chronic side effects. We carry you. We carry you. We carry you. This is a silly podcast, but we assure you we carry you. If this stays in, I just want to let you know we carry you. This might super get cut out.
Get cut out.
It's gonna get cut out.
It's not gonna get cut out.
It's maybe... I mean, it's pretty long. Maybe it should get cut out. But...
Nah, it's well, stay in. Or
only that we carry you should be kept in.
I say keep all of it. I want our podcast to be long and rambly and ridiculous. Because you demanded it.
Wants to preserve. Yeah,
Yes, they did.
people like it, I guess.
Because we kept apologizing, and every time we did, people were like, I like it when you guys go on tangents. So congratulations, this is what you get now.
I'm sorry I went on an angry rant.
He gets
for
to go on a
moment
racist
there.
tirade because I said Fushigi.
It was. Oh. Listen, I have many feelings about things just being marketed as special, new, and unique on accounts of coming from a different
They're
culture
not
and
even-
being marketed only by white people.
I don't even think, like, the art of contact jungling was even inherently
No.
fucking Asian. The only time I've ever seen people do that shit is at the Renaissance Fair, which is the
No, but
whitest activity.
it's the fastest way to... Absolutely. Freaking... Nothing makes you white like the Ren Fair.
Nothing makes
God.
you white like the Ren Fair. Trust me, I've gone. I had to earn my blackness
I
back.
have...
I haven't been to a Ren Fair in quite some
It's
time.
been a grip.
Oh my god. Oh, I cannot... I could talk about the one time I went to the Ren Fair, but I
Have you
must
only
not.
been
We
once?
must...
That's
we
a
must
conversation you and I are
continue.
gonna
I
have
have
to
only been
have
once.
After the podcast.
Speaking of after the
after
podcast,
let's wrap this shit the fuck up, huh? Thank you very much
we've got
for
to
listening
go.
to us. See, this is really why we need to make sure we have Ritzy with us when we record, so he can yell at us.
She smacks on
Yeah,
the
really.
glass.
So we're gonna be resuming recording as usual, unless something happens, in which case we'll let you know. But we should be recording as usual. Everybody, give a big round of applause to P.O. Thank you very much for stepping in to fill the shoes of one Action Shakespeare. We hope you had a good time. We hope we can have you back again someday soon as well. But until then, thank you for being a friend, and thank you for lending us a hand on this episode.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a pleasure to have you here. Next time, we are going to be covering episodes 78 and 79. Those are the terrifying Unidogma plus Ghost Monsters and Jigoku Taishi, the terrifying true form. So we're gonna see it.
Oh.
We're gonna see the terrifying true form of Jigoku Taishi. But that'll be something for next episode. Until then, thank you very much. We hope you had a wonderful time. Love yourselves, love your loved ones, stay safe, mask up, all that good stuff. And remember, as always, that if you can't believe in God and you can't believe in Buddha, you can always believe in Kamen Rider.